about to open in 4 seconds. Game number 1, series number 1 of North American Cup number 3.
So, of course, we're here on the Grand Arena, Sea-Doo, Mez, and Trill. So that's going to be the unholy DK and the Frost sub. So right away, I'd probably give the advantage here to Method Orange just based on those specs coming out. But Swag is going to look for some type of sap onto Method Orange. There it is, the sap onto Trill. And we're going to look for some type of CC onto Sea-Doo, whether that's a kidney into the Ring of Frost or the kidney into the Fear. There it is, the kidney into the Ring of Frost. Huge damage now coming out of the Mez with that Trinket. Icebound Fortitude still available, and he uses that AMS to stay alive.
Yeah, he's going to be kiting out of line of sight of Cyril. There's another sap onto Trill. Trill hasn't been able to do anything in this game. Nice control coming in from Swag with a cheap shot on the Trill. Fear over onto Sea-Doo. Mez getting lower and lower, but Sea-Doo might be able to, yeah, he's out of the CC now, so finally can get those heals over onto Mez, and now Method Orange needs to get some sort of pressure. There's an incapacitate over onto Zazul. He trinkets out of that. Now Sea-Doo gets swapped over to with the cheap shot. Mez and Trill trying to connect over onto Cyril. He's just spake casting over and over. The Trill's had enough. Blood Elf Silence Leg Sweep connects. Finally a little bit of damage, but the Archangel coming in from Zazul. He still has the Rapture, still has the Pain Suppression. Cyril should be completely fine.
And that was the Icy Vein from Cyril in the opener there, and they didn't get too many defensive cooldowns from Method Orange. There's the Paralyze coming out, and the first Ice Block from Carol being used right away. So the Method Orange peeling that opener great, and then really turning the pressure around to get some defensive cooldowns from Jay's new shoes, and that's really what's scary, right? Jay's new shoes is supposed to get a lot more cooldowns in the opener, not just a trinket from Sea-Doo or a trinket from Mez, but we want Spirit Link, we want Earthen Shield, we want some of these walls or Icebound Fortitudes in exchange for that Mage's Icy Veins.
Yeah, there's the kidney shot into the full ring. Double ring, actually, very nicely done. Mez is all by himself, trades out the Icebound Fortitude, but can't land it onto anyone. I think that was evasion coming in from Swag. Mez had no choice but to grip in Zazul to get that heal off, but Sea-Doo's now caught into the Fear. Mez still has to kite and needs to line of sight and avoid some of this damage. That was a very nice setup coming in from Jay's new shoes.
Yeah, and that was the Icebound Fortitude, and now Mez has no trinket or any outs at all, so Jay's new shoes could potentially win this in the next go because Sea-Doo has no trinket either. But there it is, tons of damage coming out onto Carol. 40% life now. He does manage to kind of get around the pillar, get away, topping himself back up, but there's the Archangel from Zazul, and it's not really helping Carol too much. Now the kidney shot onto Sea-Doo.
Yeah, big damage over onto Sea-Doo. Kidney shot into cheap shot. He manages to get the Astral Shift off with the Earth Shield. That's going to make him very tanky, although his HP is low. I do not think Jay's new shoes is going to be able to push through unless they can keep him low. If Sea-Doo can't get any casts off, it could be the Spirit Link out. Uses that Earthen Shield totem to, continue to make himself tanky. Carol, getting lower and lower. Incapacitate on his Zazul. This is going to be the second Ice Wall coming in from Carol, so no defensive cooldowns really available for Jay's new shoes.
Yeah, and now Method Orange only has that Spirit Link totem available. There's the full kidney shot on the Mez and the Sheep on the Trill. Beautiful cross you see from Jay's new shoes. I'm not sure of what they can make from it, though, because Carol's about 10% life. That's the Pain Suppression from Zazul as well, so tons of pressure coming out from both sides. Carol, 20% life, barely surviving there with that Temp Shield, with that Pain Suppression, with that Life Grip from the Priest. So many defensive cooldowns now used from Jay's new shoes. They really have to turn this around.
That was such a sick port coming in from Trill, landing right on top of Carol, and he is going to be taken down with the leg sweep over onto the Priest. So nicely done from Method Orange, sort of deflected all of those incoming attacks from Jay's new shoes and managed to claim game number 1. I mean, kind of expected when he was really high. This is do or die for Jay's new shoes. Method Orange in a very comfortable position, up 1-0, and already guaranteed qualified for the spring finals.
And as Zico was saying, Jay's new shoes really needs to focus on the triple CC, because really what was happening is every time they were doing a setup, Trill would then paralyze the mage. Mez would maybe grip the rogue, right? There was constant peels on the RMP side from Method Orange. So we need to see the Fear, the Polymorph, the kidney shot land at the same time. And there it is, the kidney shot onto Sea-Doo, the cheap shot onto Mez. There's a full ring onto Sea-Doo and the sheep onto Mez. So it might look like Jay's new shoes actually wanting to target Trill. Not doing much here in this opener, though, with a triple Fear coming out from Jay.
Trill just destroyed Swag. He incapacitated him immediately. Swag trinketed and Trill just ported. Wasn't able to get the stuns, wasn't able to get anything in that opener. So Trill really diffusing that. And that positioning coming in from Method Orange was very key, allowing that to happen. They wanted to get that double CC out onto Mez and Sea-Doo. Trill able to survive. Now Method Orange looking to get aggressive with the big damage over onto Cyril as he gets lower and lower. Jay's going to respond with the Archangel and the Rapture. There's an incapacitate. Are they going to be able to just push through? Cyril needs to be able to hold on. You can't be dying through those huge defensive Priest cooldowns.
Great job there from Cyril, though, not using his Ice Block, even though he's at 20% life. And that was the Icy Veins from Cyril as well, really counter-pressuring Mez and Trill. The Ascendance from Sea-Doo is being used as well to try to keep his team alive, but there's still every defensive cooldown from Method Orange besides that Icebound Fortitude from Mez. So Method Orange defensively is looking fantastic, and that was already the Icy Veins, as we talked about, from Jay's new shoes. So offensively, not much happening, but there's the Paralyze into the full capstone onto Jay, and Cyril's getting very low and does trade out the Ice Block.
Yeah, Swag Swag tried to do everything he can. Kidney shot on Trill. Now a little bit of damage over onto Mez with the full blind onto Sea-Doo. He's going to have a DR Fear. It doesn't look like Cyril's going to be able to get really much CC out of that. Mez doing a good job slowing that down, but the full polymorph lands very nicely done by Cyril as Swag gets lower and lower as well. Mez kind of caught into the middle of the map, forced to trade out that AMZ to sort of reduce some of this damage coming in from the Priest, as well as that Mage Ebon Bolt being cast out, but really not going to do too much on the Mez, but it's actually used over on the Sea-Doo as he gets bursted down. Trinket as well as the Astral Shift is forced out. Nice swap coming in from Jay's New Shoes.
Wow, so the only defensive cooldown really left for Method Orange now is that Spirit Link and the Trinket from Mez. We really want to look at this next go from the RMP. The Paralyze comes out onto Jay. Cyril's in trouble now, 40% life. Seems like he's kind of always in trouble, but has that second Ice Block back in his pocket. The thing I want to keep an eye out too is Swag still has that Smoke Bomb cooldown still available, so they could either Smoke Bomb Sea-Doo or Smoke Bomb Trill with no Trinket with that Frozen Orb from the Frost Mage and really get a huge burst setup. And there it is, the kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. What are they going to make happen with it?
Nothing, because Trill's going to incapacitate it immediately. DR cheap shot over onto Sea-Doo. Can Cyril get the polymorph? He does manage to land it. Damage going out onto Mez. There's the Frozen Orb. Big damage. Mez does have the AMS. He does have the Trinket, so he should be fine, but he needs to make sure he doesn't pull the trigger too late. Gets out of the stuns. There's the AMS. That's going to be deflecting all of that mage damage. Sea-Doo doesn't really have to use too much. Well, he doesn't really have anything available to use anyways, but because of the way Sea-Doo trinketed early on, Swacked is going to have that full blind available, which is going to be very important for them to actually secure a kill.
And there's the double leg sweep coming out of Jay's New Shoes, double human trinket. So since Carol, Swacked, and Jay are all playing human, they have that additional trinkets to really save themselves. Carol doing a nice job blinking, casting the Ebon Bolt. There's a smoke bomb coming out from Swacked. Here it is, tons of damage now coming out on the Mez. Sea-Doo has no trinket available. If there's any follow-up CC, I'm very scared for Mez right now. There's a Spirit Link dropped right before that fear. A little gap in that CC was enough time for Sea-Doo to top back his team.
Oh, that would have been such a nice setup for Jay's New Shoes if they could have just kept that CC going on a Sea-Doo, but now Cyril's the one that is in trouble. Second Ice Block forced out from Mez and Trill. Jay got caught into the incapacitate, couldn't get those heals out, and now Cyril's left in position where he doesn't have anything for quite some time. Still trying to kite away. Swacked looking like he wants to get a reset. Actually vanishes out. How is he going to open up? How are they going to generate some pressure? Everyone from Method Orange is looking like they're pretty good defensively in this game, so Jay's New Shoes is going to have to figure out something.
What I really like from Method Orange is that they're getting defensive cooldowns back. Now Sea-Doo with that trinket, Trill with that trinket, Sea-Doo has his wall back available. There's a ton of defensive cooldowns they can begin to rotate through, but on the side of Jay's New Shoes, they're really just looking at that pain suppression from Jay. Now both healers about 20-25% mana, which probably won't play a role in this next kill or two will happen in the next minute, so I don't think the mana will play too much of a role, but Jay's New Shoes really needs to make something happen. The Icy Veins is back up from Carol, and here is the full kidney shot and the polymorph onto Sea-Doo. The double cheap shots coming out of both DPS. Let's see how this play runs out.
Ebon Bolt onto Mez. AMS used as a response. Sea-Doo now caught into the full fear. Is he going to trinket out of it? Mez used that AMS. They actually managed to shred through it. He still has the Icebound Fortitude available, so Sea-Doo's very comfortable in this situation. Mez can always use that to get out of stuns and top himself off. Cyril may have overstayed his welcome in this situation, though. Mez and Trill are going to be able to put out huge damage, incapacitate over onto Jay. Is there any follow-up onto Jay? Doesn't look like it. He's going to be able to get the shield up, but big burst still onto Cyril as he gets life gripped away. Swack just trying to stun up everybody, trying to keep his mage alive so they can do a couple more setups. Icy Veins is available. That was a Shadow Blades coming in from Swack, but Jay's just having such a difficult time topping off Cyril in this situation. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. He immediately trinkets out, wants to keep his team aggressive. They realize they can win right here. Trill now caught into the full cheap shot. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Trill does have the touch of karma, uses the fortifying brew. He's going to be fine. Now a swap over onto Sea-Doo. Jay's New Shoes is running out of time.
And that was Jay's pain suppression, the last defensive cooldown for Jay's New Shoes. No ice blocks, no pain suppression. Jay has a trinket, but he's running low on mana as well. There's the temporal shield, but the double leg sweep now coming out into Jay and Cyril. Re-stun right onto the trinket. So much damage coming out from Trill and Mez. There's a kidney shot on the Trill. Kind of just a peel. Method Orange still dominating this game. Jay's New Shoes really needs to turn this around. The only lifeline they really have is that Icy Veins cooldown from Cyril to really get that huge one-shot. Besides that, they're done.
Yeah, Cyril, he had the nicest temporal shield there. That's the reason he was able to survive that double leg sweep setup, topping himself off. Capstun over onto Jay. Trill could be in some trouble here. Cyril casts out the Frost Bolts. Trill runs into the Ring of Frost. Not going to be able to do too much, but a nice swap over onto Sea-Doo. Kidney shot into cheap shot. Sea-Doo had no trinket for that. That was the last thing Jay's New Shoes could do. They kept that Icy Veins, very patient with that swap. Got the CC on a Trill, and they were able to take Sea-Doo down. All right, we are all tied up 1-1 with the first series of the day. Can Method Orange strike back go up in the series 2-1. We'll have to see how they decide to play it out. It's going to be up to Jay's New Shoes to see how they open. You can see Swag sneaking in on that rogue, looking for an opener. Mez sending in his pet. That's going to put him in combat, not allowing Swag to really get a sap out. So that's why you see him use that Mark for Death kidney and the cheap shot. They got out that cross CC right away.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get a better opener than last time, because last time there was cross CC on a Sea-Doo and Mez, and Trill did a great job of just line of sighting and then paralyzing Swag, so they really couldn't make much of it. RMP openers, guys, are very, very, very critical in how the rest of the game plays out. How many defensive cooldowns are you really getting? Right away, you can see Cyril just casting those frostbolts, getting those icicles, getting ready for one huge go, and just landing them onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo noses, sitting behind the pillar, trying to play very defensive. Pre-gift of the Quinning right here, so if they open up into this, they're not really allowed to, and now Cyril getting gripped in and trinkets and blinks out immediately.
Yeah, he doesn't want any part of that being line of sight of his healer, just decides to trinket, like you said, he's going to be avoiding, but that's a small victory for Method Orange. What did they commit? They committed the life grip, got Cyril's trinket, and that's going to be huge for that Windwalker DK. Jay's New Shoes looking to strike back. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Everybody's stunned up. Can Cyril get any follow-up? It doesn't look like it. You can see Jay pushing in for the Fury. He gets stunned up as well, so that's another go from Jay's New Shoes that Method Orange was able to avoid quite nicely.
Jay's New Shoes still has a lot of offensive cooldown, still Shadow Play, still Gorma, still Icy Veins, but it looks like Method Orange is trying to set up now. There's the leg sweep onto Cyril. The trinket temp shields immediately. That's his second trinket coming out from the mage already. So Cyril next go is going to be very, very scared. That's the Archangel from Jay to top them back off, but now they're trying to get some counter pressure onto Method Orange. There's the triple stuns all over the place with that Frozen Orb from Cyril. So much damage coming in onto Mez. What cooldowns will be committed? There's the Icebound, or the anti-magic shield from Mez, and the tons of CC on the Sea-Doo as well.
Yeah, Cyril's able to get that full polymorph. Mez still just line of sighting, trying to survive. Uses the AMS. Icebound Fortitude is going to be available, but he is playing Unholy, so he doesn't have that reset like we talked about. He's not going to be able to top himself off, so that makes it a little bit more scary for Method Orange. You can see Sea-Doo, he's actually playing Relentless this game. He didn't like the fact that he had to make that decision between trinketing blind and not having it available for those swaps, so goes Relentless. All CC is going to be a little bit less on him, but Cyril's still in trouble. There's the stun into Incapacitate onto Jay. Cyril needs to be able to survive as he gets lower and lower. Mez trying to take him down with that artifact ability. Cyril kites into his Ring of Frost, but still just getting interrupted by Mez from range, trying to get those heals or those polymorphs onto Sea-Doo, but Sea-Doo's positioned so nicely that I really don't feel like Cyril can ever get those polymorphs unless Swag is setting him up with those kidney shots or those cheap shots.
Yeah, that was very interesting actually too. That was the smoke bomb from Swag on a, kind of like a defensive smoke bomb just to keep him alive. It looks like Jay's New Shoes is trying to set up with that full blind and the full sap on the Sea-Doo. Mez just responds immediately with that Icebound Fortitude, and that was the Icy Veins from Cyril as well. He was holding onto that all game long. He uses it. Mez trades out the Icebound Fortitude. Absolutely love that trade, just respecting that huge Frost Mage damage before it really gets out of control.
Yeah, very effective trade. Incapacitate over onto Jay. You can see him in a nice defensive position. Mez using that Asphyxiate stun. Cyril gets lower and lower. There's the first Ice Block forced out with that Serenity coming in from Trill. Trill still has the touch of death though, and Jay's into the Hex. So Cyril's not out of this yet. He needs to be able to get away. Kidney shot onto Sea-Doo. Cheap shot onto Mez. Cyril gets interrupted though. Trill still all over him with the Fist of Fury stun. Mez gets lower and lower. He throws out the AMZ to avoid some of that damage. Grips over Cyril. Trill ports back to defend Sea-Doo. Finally back on top of Cyril. This mage is having a very difficult time escaping. And there is the Gargoyle used by Mez. So that's going to be increasing their damage by quite a bit.
Jay's New Shoes has a slight opening here for a kill window onto Mez. Mez, no trinket, no Icebound Fortitude. Sea-Doo, obviously no trinket because he's playing Relentless. If they can get the Earth Shield off of Mez, get a huge setup onto Mez, just CC onto Sea-Doo, they could really get this kill with the next Frozen Orb from the Frost Mage, and that's kind of what we're looking out here for. Method Orange trying to peel this. Trinket still available from Trill, but Cyril getting very low, and that's going to be the second Ice Block. The burst coming out from Mez and Trill is so incredible. Every time they get a little bit of CC, Cyril just has to go into an Ice Block.
Yeah, it's so difficult for them. Mez playing Unholy, he has that ranged Asphyxiate, so that stun, that can be followed up by the Incapacitate from Trill. That gives Method Orange very consistent CC chains where they can burst down Cyril and Fist to Fist Fury stun or a leg sweep, anything like that. Cyril blinking away, trying to get that polymorph. Does manage to land it. Now Mez could be in some trouble. No trinket, no Icebound Fortitude. Gets out. AMS going to be forced out, but Sea-Doo not out of it yet. Polymorph into Fear. Mez needs to be able to escape some of this damage as he gets lower and lower. Sea-Doo finally out of the CC. He has the Spirit Link available, opting not to use it as Cyril is forced in sort of a defensive position, kiting away from Trill. Mez trying to reconnect with that Ride the Wind coming in from Trill. Asphyxiate stun onto Jay. Use that Human Racial. Grip Cyril, but Cyril gets gets gripped back all over the map. Finally, Serial able to blink away, casting out the Blizzard, just trying to snare out Method Orange. We look at mana, Seedu's actually not doing too great. Method Orange can't afford to hold on much longer.
That's exactly what I was just going to point out. Seedu is about 5% mana, and that's because he's been offensively purging and just healing a ton. Now the full blind coming out on the Seedu and the full kidney shot onto Mez. There's not quite too much damage here from Serial, though. No Icy Veins, no Orb, no Ebon Bolt being casted, so it looks like Mez is going to be fine. But finally, the Ebon Bolt does connect in the re-polymorph onto Seedu. Mez 10% life. I'm not sure how he's going to live this one. The mind control coming out, but Seedu, the slight gap in CC, gets a Spirit Link off once again to save Mez's life.
Yeah, Jay preemptively drops that shield in order to protect Serial in this situation. Seedu now caught into the full kidney shot. No defensive cooldowns available whatsoever. They're trying to find some damage onto him, but he manages to pre-drop that Earthen Shield Totem. Seedu looking for a Hex in the situation. He has the Ascendance up. He managed to top off his team, but Method Orange really doesn't have too much in terms of defensive. Mez, actually Serial caught in the crossfire as well. I kind of missed that. There's the Hex onto Jay. Mez and Trill were able to push through, take down Serial. He had no Ice Block available, and now Method Orange leads this series 2-1. I feel like such a big part of that game was Method Orange to those consistent setups. Like we saw, Method Orange going into game number 4 is up 2-1 in the series. The gates do open. What is Jay's New Shoes going to do in this situation?
I'm a little surprised Jay's New Shoes is sticking with that Frost sub instead of switching to that Arcane Mage or the Assassination Rogue for a little bit more survivability, so the Arcane Mage could just kite around that Unholy Death Knight a little bit and just avoid those setups. I think the Arcane Mage could do a much better job surviving, but he does opt to play Frost subs, so they're really looking for these huge triple CC, Fear, Kidney Shot, Sheep setups, and here it is. There's a triple Cheap Shot, Kidney Shot setup with a full ring onto Seedu. The Cheap Shot's now landing onto Mez as well. Serial holding onto that Icy Veins as he gets peeled from Trill.
Yeah, but Jay and Serial not able to put any pressure over onto Mez. Finally, Jay able to charge in and get that Fear. Mez getting lower and lower. Nice Ring of Frost out on Trill. This is beautiful CC coming in from Jay's New Shoes. There's the Asphyxiate Sun Incapacitate over onto Jay. Serial gets lower and lower. He manages to get the Temporal Shield up. Opposite just Trinket out, gets gripped away. Mez grips him back though. Serial's still not out of the woods yet. Temporal Shield talked him up, but they're just gonna push through it. Archangel heals coming in from Jay as he gets lower and lower. Can they not use that Ice Block? It's gonna be up to Jay to keep him alive with that Raptor cooldown. Now nice Smoke Bomb coming in from Jay's New Shoes as they look to strike back onto Mez.
Wow, that was incredible from Mez, not using his Trinket or Icebound Fortitude in that Smoke Bomb. So that was actually a bait from Jay's New Shoes, a bait from Swag to be like, we're gonna bomb Mez, we're gonna try to get that Trinket or try to bait out that Icebound Fortitude and then have a huge Icy Veins go when he doesn't have those defensive cooldowns. Mez knew this. Mez decided to hold on to every single defensive cooldown and survive that Smoke Bomb without really using anything. So incredible defensive play from Method Orange, holding on to their cooldowns in that situation when Smoke Bomb was used. But here's the Icy Veins from Serial with the full polymorph on the Seedu and the stuns on the Trill. He Trinket Karmas, and that's going to save his life.
Yes, that was the Icy Veins though. Mez getting lower. DR polymorph on the Seedu. Jay's in a good position to land that Fear. Trinkets out of the Asphyxiate. Mez in a lot of trouble. He still has the AMS, opting not to use it. He's using that Corpse Shield to survive. Seedu's going to keep him alive with the Ascendance. Riptides. Big heals coming in from Seedu as Seedu charges in. He wants to get those offensive purges. Look at him. Just purging over and over onto Serial. So Mez and Trill can get that offensive damage going, but Jay's in a nice position where it's difficult for Trill to land that Incapacitate. So then get that CC and get that burst damage down. Nice pet stun coming in from Mez to avoid that Ebon Bolt. Nicely done shutting down this Frost Mage.
I cannot believe the discipline from Mez on his defensive cooldowns. Look at him. Every defensive cooldown still available for Mez, and Serial going into the Ice Block just out of nowhere. That's insane burst coming up from Method Orange, but Trill seems to be really the target of choice here. Serial not out of the woods yet, even though we just came out of that Ice Block. 10% life, Pain Suppression being used from Jay. Couple shields catching, Shadow Men's being casted as well. Looks like he's going to be out of the woods for now, but that was kind of their stun DRs being used from Swacked as well. So now Method Orange is completely on the front foot.
Yeah, there is a little time where Swacked is going to have his Shadow Blades available where Trill does not have a Trinket. If they have Blind for Seedu, they can maybe create an opportunity there, but Swacked gets swapped to taking a little damage. Caught into the Fist of Fury stun right now. Jay not in any CC. Serial trying to poly it up, but he gets interrupted there by Mez. Nicely done stopping that CC. Now Trill and Mez looking to reconnect. Double stun goes out onto Swacked and Jay for Serial. Serial's going to Trinket out of that. He's going to blink away to safety, but Trill still all over him. Tiger's Lust. Jay's in a very good position right now to get out those heals though. No CC on him. Mez looking for that Asphyxiate. Actually interrupts him. Here's the Kidney Shot blind I was talking about. AMZ traded out by Mez. That is very nicely done. Trade out the AMZ for the blind to keep Trill alive in that situation where he really didn't have his trinket to get out of that setup.
Yeah, and Jay's New Shoes is doing setups on the Trill, and I'm not really quite sure how I like it, because Trill's he has his Karma back available. He has his trinket now in 5 more seconds, so they really have to change up their strategy. But at this point, defensively, they only have 1 ice block, and that's pretty much it. Method Orange looking incredible in this game. Serral now pre-temp shielding as Jay goes into that CC. I absolutely love that, but tons of burst coming out on the Trill. And there was a slight gap in those cheap shots, so he does get that touch of Karma out without actually having to commit a trinket or any other defensive cooldowns. Beautiful play by Trill, and now the stun coming out on the Serral. Back and forth pressure now.
Yeah, Blood Elf Silence. Serenity going to be traded out by Trill. Fist of Fury as well, but Jay once again in a good position. Finally gets incapacitated by Trill. This could be the second ice block coming in from Serral as he gets interrupted as he blinks away. Kidney shot on the Sea-Doo. Ring of Frost being cast out. Interrupt coming in over and over. This poor mage just getting shut down on everything. Eventually lands that polymorph on the Sea-Doo. Now Trill could be in some trouble. He's cheap shot behind the pillar. Serral not able to get out that damage. Trill decides to charge in and get aggressive in this situation. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. He wants to keep those interrupts up, wants to keep those stuns up on the Serral with the incapacitate on the Jay. Temporal Shield was used, but the overlap with the Ice Block completely necessary in that situation.
Yep, and Trill still has that trinket, still has that wall. I really don't know if Swacked and Serral are going to be able to take down the Monk here before the end of this game. They look like they actually want to do a little setup on Sea-Doo, maybe just a little bait there to swap the Earth Shield. He does swap the Earth Shield to himself. That opens up Mez and Trill for a swap. The Icy Veins available for Serral. This is really their last big go, and they're probably going to have to do it on Sea-Doo if they want to win, since every other Method Orange member has those defensive cooldowns still available. Swacked and Serral on their last lifeline. The kidney shot onto Sea-Doo into that full polymorph, and that trinket comes out from Trill immediately, and he walls at 100% HP.
That's exactly what he needed to do in that situation. Ports away, relays his port. Sea-Doo now into the fear. Trill wants to get aggressive. Touch of Death committed to Serral. He has the Serenity as well. He could wait till the last second of that Touch of Death and put out huge damage with the Serenity, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to connect and really take advantage of that cooldown. Nicely read by Jay's New Shoes. That was beautiful defensive play. Polymorph now over on Mez. Trill in a little bit of trouble. He has a touch of Karma, but if they can do an all-in setup, no Icy Veins available, however, no Shadow Blades available, so I don't know if Jay's New Shoes really has the damage to push through.
Yeah, and Mez has no Icebound Fortitude or Trinket, so they really get to choose Mez or Trill based on Earthshield positioning here, and that's really what they're going to do here in this next setup. Now the full blind coming on a Sea-Doo. He's playing Relentless, so no Trinket available. The full polymorph on the Trill and the full mind control. They can't see all of them. Who are they going to hit? Sea-Doo taking so much damage. Kidney shot with every defensive cooldown used. That's it. Sea-Doo goes down.
Goodness gracious. Serral, no Icy Veins. Swack didn't use anything as well. They used a blind to set him up. I know, Ezekiel, that you were waiting for that moment.
Flip the pressure on their head like that. So that's what we want to be seeing here if they go for Jay, if Method Orange goes for Jay.
Jay's New Shoes, tournament lives on the line. Method Orange already in a very secure position for the spring finals. Obviously, they want to be earning as many points as possible, but this is do or die for Jay's New Shoes if they want to have any chance of qualifying for this tournament.
Both games Jay's New Shoes have taken off of Method Orange has been a kill on Sea-Doo. So Sea-Doo is playing Trinket to try to evade that. There's the triple stuns coming out on everyone from Swack. There's that triple fear as well. Mez in a little bit of trouble with defensive cooldown. Is he going to use, this is not the Icy Veins, but he does use that AMS cooldown to save his own life.
He was right outside of that Earthen Shield totem that Sea-Doo managed to drop there before that go. So that's unfortunate for Mez, but only really committing that AMS. Serral didn't really use anything either. Kept the Icy Veins, like you said. Gargoyle is going to be used by Mez. Incapacitate onto Jay. Method Orange looking to get aggressive over onto Serral. They're not committing the all-in strategy. Big burst onto Serral as the first ice block is forced out.
And that's what I'm talking about. Method Orange burst is incredible. It's just a short paralyze, maybe a stun on the Jay, and then Serral just dips from 90 to 10% every time. But here they're looking to turn around the pressure with the Icy Veins from Serral. There's the triple cheap shots from Swacked once again, and that's the Icebound Fortitude now coming up from Mez and that anti-magic zone. And we know that's so important to save Sea-Doo's life later in this game. So with no Icebound, no AMZ rather from Mez, it's going to be very scary for Sea-Doo, but he still has that trinket, so Swack's going to try to bait that with a blind later in this match.
Yeah, look at Sea-Doo too. He has the Earth Shield on himself. He doesn't want himself to be a target. He needs to make sure right before they go for that CC, he switches the Earth Shield over onto Mez. Earthen Shield Totem is going to be dropped out. Blood of Silence used. Full blind onto Sea-Doo. He trinkets out. Earth Shield still on himself. Wants to keep that available. There's the Smoke Bomb though. Big damage over onto Mez. Fear out onto Trill as well as Mez. So no CC over onto Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo should be able to heal through this damage. Serral's in a lot of trouble. This could be his second ice block with a Wind Shear over onto Jay. Rapture's going to be traded out. And the life grip coming in from Jay. So big defensives, Archangel available. Jay still has a lot left in his toolbox to keep his team alive, but Method Orange has some good pressure right now.
So Jay's new shoes is in a good spot right now. Sea-Doo has no trinket, Mez has no trinket or Icebound. They just have to look at that Earth Shield. If Earth Shield is on Sea-Doo, they set up on Mez. If Earth Shield's on Mez, they set up on Sea-Doo. This next big go from Jay's new shoes could really spell it out here in this game, but now Cyril getting stunned with that leg sweep. Tons of damage coming out.
There's the Hex over onto Jay, fakes it out. That's the second ice block coming in from Cyril. Swag gets swapped to and deleted. Method Orange, that was beautifully done. What can happen in these situations is you have really good pressure on the mage. He uses his ice block, and guess what? There's a rogue stun right beside you. So this isn't a matchup I've actually ever seen played out before. Gates have opened for game number 1 between Method Black and Synergy Reborn.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it either, and I guess it really just goes to show that Synergy Reborn with that Feral Prot Disc Priest feel very comfortable against RMPs. So Method Black saying, no, we don't want to RMP into this blind pick. We're going to use that Demon Hunter Warrior, and they think they can counter this, because that's a pretty obvious choice here from Synergy Reborn. We've seen a lot of them playing that recently, but immediately Samayam and Smexen jumping in onto Colo to start off this action.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what kind of pressure they can generate at this point in the game.
Gorecki immediately gets bashed, and Colo's spamming out those smites to try to get the counter heals in there and a little bit of that damage. The Stormbolt coming out onto Kaldurg now as he goes about 50% life. And Samayam's taking some pressure as well. Now the silence coming out on the Gorecki. Samayam 50% life, definitely very scary. Double fear here onto Bean and to Kaldurg now.
Yeah, Kaldurg and Bean both getting lower and lower. Nice pressure coming in from Method Black very early on. This is the incarnation from Kaldurg as well, but they really can't get anything going. And Method Black, I think, has chosen a very good composition. Who does Synergy Reborn go on? Gorecki's going to be very difficult to kill on that Druid. Smexen is an Arms Warriors with that D-stance. You have Samayam, on the Demon Hunter with lots of mobility. Big pressure coming in from Method Black on the Synergy Reborn, and they're forced to play defensive.
Yeah, I would definitely favor Method Black here in this matchup, and that was the Incarn from Kaldurg. Kaldurg actually popping another wall as well to sustain his own life. Bean and Kaldurg taking the damage. Now they're the ones riding, even though they have the Prot Paladin on their team. Now the silence coming out on the Gorecki, the mind control on the Smexen. Samayam's in a little bit of trouble. Bean casting out the Splash of Lights, trying to top himself back off. This seems to be a pretty close matchup right now. The mana from both healers are pretty much even, about 90%. There's triple CC coming up from Method Black with the Stormbolts and the stun onto Bean and Kaldurg there. Colo gets interrupted, but it looks like things have stabilized for now.
Yep, there's a maim onto Samayam, a little bit of damage onto him, but Synergy Reborn really struggling to find pressure. There's the full Repentance coming in from Bean over onto Gorecki. It gets reversed there by Samayam, so on that Demon Hunter, he's going to be able to get off those long CC chains. Another thing that's very important for Method Black's composition is Samayam with that reverse magic, able to get Gorecki out of the CC change that Synergy Reborn, quite frankly, relies on in order to land a kill.
Yeah, but now Colo going into that Stormbolt still has a lot of defensive cooldowns to sift through from Bean and himself with that power and pain suppression, the powered barrier as well. Now the full Cyclone from Gorecki landing on the Colo. Love the Cyclones coming up from Gorecki when he can't actually land them. Kaldurg's getting very low. He only has one wall available, so Kaldurg seems to be kind of the best kill option for Samayam and Smexen. Now another minute, 15 seconds until that Incarnation's available, and that's really what offensively Synergy Reborn is looking for, that Incarnation with the increased damage from Bean coming out, so Bean and Kaldurg can connect on a target and really bleed them down once dampening kicks in.
Yeah, Smexen putting out so much damage with Samayam. That's really what he's known for. Anytime he plays a melee, the other team is under immense pressure. Colo's mana still in not a bad spot though, but Synergy Reborn they don't really have a target to go on. Like I said, Kaldurg once again getting lower and lower. The fear going out onto Colo as well as Bean. Kaldurg down to 50% HP. He has to kite away. He's in bear form right now, just trying to avoid some of that damage. Bash over onto Samayam, trying to slow that down as well. But Synergy Reborn trying to find some pressure onto Samayam. Gorecki just not in any crowd control, hasn't had to use any defensive abilities the entire game. This is looking so good for Method Black.
And as Kaldurg gets very low, he does pop that second wall cooldown. He actually has another one coming back up, so he's rotating them through them very nicely. But Bean and Kaldurg still taking just so much damage from Samayam and Smexen. If I had to guess, as this game goes on, Samayam and Smexen are just going to completely out-damage Bean and Kaldurg here. They're looking to get that full Hammer of Justice onto Gorecki. Gorecki does pre-bear form it though. Beautiful job. As he comes out of that, his artifact ability fades. He does get silenced up, but Samayam and Smexen completely topped off from Gorecki. Gorecki handling the situation so nicely.
Yeah, big damage onto Bean though. Stormbolt onto Colo. Could they get out his bubble? Well, it doesn't look like it. Bean's going to be able to survive. He has a lot of of defensive cooldowns he can rely on. But what's happening in this game is very unsustainable for Synergy Reborn. As dampening gets higher and higher, Bean's healing is going to be lower. They're going to be able to force out those defensive cooldowns very quickly. So this is very dangerous for Synergy Reborn. Samayam finally taking a little bit of pressure. Silence into Rake Stun over on a Gorecki as he gets swapped to. He's not in bear form for this one. Barskin forced out Samayam using the darkness as well. So that was very nicely done by Synergy Reborn, finding some pressure with that incarnation used out by Kaldurg.
That was a great job there by Samayam, realizing that Gorecki did not actually shift that one, throwing out the darkness at high HP so he doesn't actually have to spend that mana to heal through it. Now the Iron Bark coming out as well to stabilize Method Black, but Synergy Reborn, Bean, and Kaldurg still have 50%. This is the incarnation from Kaldurg. Tons of offensive pressure coming out with those bleeds, but you know, as this game's going on, Synergy Reborn is going to have a harder and harder time healing through this, but Bean and Kaldurg have so many cooldowns to rotate through. As you can see, multiple bubbles, pain suppression.
Big stuns coming in from Samayam. He gets maimed on that though. Nice pressure coming in from Method Black. That's the metamorphosis from Samayam. Fell Barrage as well as Bean gets lower and lower. Nice Cyclone coming in from Gorecki. Gets hodged up though. In the meantime, Silence coming in. Synergy Reborn looking to turn around the pressure. It looks like onto Smexin, but that D-stance going to be enough to deflect a lot of those attacks. And now Kolo's under fire with the Blood Elf Silence coming in from Samayam. Bean trying to help him out, but everyone from Synergy Reborn is rotting down.
I cannot believe the spread pressure coming in from Method Black. Everyone on Synergy Reborn is about 50% life, and they've been that way for like a solid minute now. Method Black doing a great job of just hitting whatever target they can. They know if they keep up this spread pressure, they keep up the DPS and dampening, they are going to come out ahead, and dampening is 4% now. It's just kicking in as the bash comes in on the Kaldurg. Kolo and Bean trying to do their best job to sustain their team right now, but it doesn't really look like they can do it. Everyone's dropping a little bit below 50% life, and Bean going to use some defensive cooldowns to keep himself alive.
Yeah, Kolo just spamming out the heals, but he gets interrupted once again. And Smexton, of course, on that Arms Warrior. He has the Sharpened Blade. Another triple stun coming in from Samayam as he rolls over and actually gets the Diffuse Magic over on a Gorecki as well. So able to get him out of that crowd control with that reverse magic. Samayam keeping his team aggressive, but it looks like the new target of choice for Synergy Reborn is Smexton. He still has the die by the sword, so he should be fine. Bean trying to get out those repentances as well. That CC on a Gorecki, but Gorecki just still has a trinket, still has Iron Bark, still has everything. Synergy Reborn, although they've caught up a little, still in a very dangerous situation. Yeah,
and they've seemed to stabilize just a little bit. That's the Rapture from Kolo to throw out the Power Word shields onto Bean, Kaldurg, and himself to really just sustain their own life bars for right now. But look at Method Black, guys. They've been perma full HP this entire game. They still have every defensive cooldown. As a Stormbolt coming out on the Kolo, he's 40% life, 30% life, barely sustaining himself. Does get a couple Shadow Ments off, pops himself back off. But this is scary. This is scary for Synergy Reborn because defensively, Method Black has everything except that darkness, which comes back up in about 25 seconds. But Kaldurg taking a ton of damage using that last wall. Actually might have one more after this, around 50% life.
Yeah, but Smexin getting lower and lower as well. That Hodge, finally Synergy Reborn able to find some pressure onto Samayam and Smexin. But like you said, Gorecki still has everything left in terms of defense. Kolo gets imprisoned there as well, so Samayam just trying to slow down those heals. Maybe they didn't have any interrupts for him. They just wanted to slow him down so he wasn't able to top himself off before they can reconnect. But Gorecki struggling to keep Smexin alive at this point. Doesn't trade out the Iron Bark, but uses his artifact weapon. Kaldurg getting low as well. This is the Incarnation. This is Synergy Reborn's opportunity to get some pressure. Incarnation at 15% dampening. Very scary. Darkness going to be traded out by Samayam. I like that trade. Able to keep himself and Smexin aggressive. Obviously, Synergy Reborn's not going to have an easy time getting over to Gorecki, who's just 40 yards away behind the pillar.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, this is Synergy Reborn's win condition. The Incarnation in deep dampening with the Prot Paladin and that Feral Druid damage really complementing each other is how Bean and Kaldurg are going to score a kill. But look at this. Gorecki's healing through it like it's no problem at all. And on top of that, Method Black is turning the pressure back onto Bean. Now that Imprison coming out with a full fear now on the Kolo. He trinkets immediately into that stun from the Demon Hunter. So much damage coming back out from the other side. The Stormbolt on the Kaldurg as well. 50% life. Bean goes into another stun. This is crazy good for Method Black right now.
Yeah, 20% dampening as Bean gets lower and lower. He still has the bubble available. Kolo just spamming out the Shadow Ments over and over to keep his team alive. Mana in favor of Kolo at this point in the game, but like I said, this is very unsustainable for Synergy Reborn. They're compromised heavily on Bean with his off heals and his defensive cooldowns. They're going to be able to get those very quickly as that healing gets lower and lower. Smexton still just chopping up Kaldurg, trying to keep up that pressure. Kaldurg kiting away, Maim over onto Samayam. There's a full stun, Stormbolt onto Kolo. Metamorphosis comes in from Samayam. Decent pressure over onto Kaldurg, but he's just in bear form, able to kite through. And Smexton still just getting lower and lower. Iron Bark's going to be forced out there by Gorecki. With the way this game's playing out, Smexton could actually be a very viable kill target later on.
He still has that die by the sword, still has that rallying cry, but he is under half HP for the first time this entire entire game. Bean now constantly going for those repentances, and that's really what we want to keep an eye out here. The repentances on the Gorecki.
Yeah, big bash over on the Gorecki. They get some pressure, but he doesn't even trade out the Bark Skin. Doesn't look like they wanted to commit. There's the double Chaos Nova coming in from Samayam onto Bean, as well as Kaldurg. Kaldurg's going to be fine. He trades out a Survival Instincts. Bean's going to be fine as well in the situation, but it's up to Colo now. He has to play catch-up. Samayam making it difficult with the interrupt, with the Blood Elf silence. Finally, Colo's in a position where he can get those heals out. Gorecki very far away once again, doesn't want to be in on the action, just wants to avoid the Hodges, avoid the repentances, so we can keep those Hots on his team.
Kaldurg now has no walls available, and he's been floating around 40% life for a while now. Kaldurg really the target I think is going to go down. Colo now getting stunned up though, has that pain suppression if he wants to use it. Some defensive cooldowns from the Prot Paladin still available, but he does decide to use that Power Word Barrier instead, trying to throw himself back off, but he does get kicked, and he's trying to get out the Shadow Mends, finally lands some healing to top himself back off.
Yeah, not completely chopped though, still in a little bit of trouble as Smexen and Samayam are still all over him. Bean and Kaldurg cannot leave them alone. They have enough interrupts to take him down. Discipline Priest is going to be difficult with those multiple schools of magic, but interrupt after interrupt coming in. Chaos Nova as well. Colo trinkets out, pain suppression forced out. That's the Thorn, pain suppression, everything from Colo to keep himself alive. But Smexen gets low. Gorecki trades out the Ironbark. Die by the Sword still available. That very key Arms Warrior defensive cooldown. Dampening is at 32%. Both these teams running out of time.
Yeah, 32, 33% dampening, and look at the defensive cooldowns from Method Black. They have everything. The Die by the Sword, the Rallying Cry, the Darkness, the Skins. It's looking fantastic for Method Black. I would definitely put them ahead here as the entire team of Sneakier Reborn is rotting down. Now Bean still has those bubbles available, using the Forgotten Queen to kind of give his partners that immunity, but Colo gets interrupted. That's the Darkness from Samayam as well, but Method Black completely topped off. This game is going to end soon.
Yeah, Colo's in so much trouble. Smexen and Samayam all over him. Interrupt after interrupt. Once again, freedom out onto Colo. He's trying to kite away. Manages to get away for a second, but Samayam's still there. Stormbolt connects as well. Blood Elf silence. Everything onto Colo. Can they take him down? Almost into execute range. Finally, Gorecki charges in. War Stomp is going to seal the deal, and Method Black looking so good in this game number one. I really feel like they have found an answer for this Prot Paladin Cleave that Sneakier Reborn has to offer.
This is a very, very solid answer from Method
Black. They brought a very powerful composition now. Sneakier Reborn, can they respond? Game number 2 about to start. Method Black up 1-0 in the series. This is such a crucial series for both these teams. If either of them get eliminated, they are not going to the spring finals.
Two things I want to point out right away is that Bean is playing Nemesis, so he's going to have a ton of all-in offensive pressure, and Samayam's actually looks like he's playing Mana Break, so he knows that Colo loves to get very offensive with those purges and wisely chooses Mana Break to really counter him for that.
Oh, all in on the Smexen. You can tell Colo's just going to be spamming out those purges over and over. Look at him. Purge after purge after purge. Darkness gets dropped out by Samayam. That's a decent trade, but Bean's still going to have so much damage. That was a Die by the Sword as well. The only thing Method Black really has to fall back on is that Ironbark cooldown.
Yep, and that was the Nemesis from Bean being committed as well. Colo under some pressure, now popping that Ascendance and Wall to top himself back off. Now Smexen playing line of sight with Gorecki. The Paralyze comes out, but it breaks immediately from that AoE damage from Bean. Now the Double Fear coming out from Method Black, kind of just reset things. And they know if they survive, they win, because Colo's mana is already at 50%.
Yeah, look at Colo just charging in. A lot of pressure. This is exactly what Samayam and Smexen need to do. They need to pressure down Colo as he gets lower and lower into execute range. Darkness gets dropped out by Bean to keep him alive. Colo still has a Spirit Link totem, but look at his mana. He's already down to 30% mana, and like you said, Samayam, he has the Mana Break. He's going to be able to punish that. Big pressure coming in from Method Black. Looks like Smexen has been able to survive at this point in the game. He's in battle stance. Still needs to kite away. Disarm over on the Bean. What's so important in this situation is that Smexen and Gorecki line of sight Colo, so we cannot get off those purges.
Method Black lives another minute or so. They are going to win this game. Smexen knows this, and he's playing incredibly defensive. He has that Rallying Cry still available. Colo out of mana now already. His entire team dropping about 50% life. Still has that Spirit Link totem, but it's not going to do much. Now Kaldurg peeling the team with Fist of Fury, using that Touch of Karma as well. The triple stuns now coming out from Method Black. There's the bash on the Bean into that full Cyclone. Colo's in so much trouble. Once that Mana Break comes back from Samayam, they're going to be able to burst Colo down.
And look at Smexen. Actually, Samayam is the one that's taking most of the burst. There's the Incapacitate onto Gorecki. Samayam, he's on the Demon Hunter. He's going to be able to kite away. He needs to use that Demon Hunter mobility to keep himself alive. Smexen finally isn't scared anymore. He's saying, you know what? You've trained me long enough. My turn. He strikes fights back, putting big pressure over on the Bean as well as Calder. Calder doesn't have the touch of Karma. Colo has no mana. He gets interrupted. Spirit Link Totem gets dropped out. Smexon in the battle stance. He wants to close out this game. Method Black looking to claim game number 2, but the double Chaos Nova comes in. Samayam gets lower and lower. Gorecki trades out the Iron Bark, and now Calder eventually gets taken down. Method Black looking very solid in that game. Smexon knowing exactly what he needs to do. There's no time for counter pressure. Run will potentially be the last game of this series. Method Black is going to have to do an excellent job of defense if they want to survive this all-in strategy coming in from Synergy Reborn.
Synergy Reborn running in. Grayson getting offensive immediately onto Samayam and Smexon, throwing out those arcane explosions to get some orbs stacked up. Bean throwing out the bleeds onto Samayam and Smexon. Now we're looking at some CC setups. There's a full kidney shot on the Samayam. There it is. There's the Iron Bark committed from Gorecki.
Yeah, still big damage on the Samayam. Blur is forced out. Iron Bark as well. So that's a lot of damage, but that's all the offensive cooldowns coming in from Synergy Reborn. Is Colo going to look to go really aggressive? Doesn't look like it. Smexon's going to keep up the pressure, and I like what Method Black is doing. They're making sure Colo has to play very defensive in this situation. Grayson's going to have to peel if he wants to keep Colo alive. Colo casting out those healing surges. No interrupts available for Method Black. Grayson doing a nice job peeling up Samayam in that situation. And there's the full kidney on a Samayam, but no CC on a Gorecki whatsoever. Synergy Reborn is looking to win with pure damage in this situation.
And that was Astral Shift committed from Colo. That's his wall cooldown to keep himself alive. And the Stormbolt coming out on him, but he does seem to stabilize a little bit, trying to kite away, but Smexon and Samayam right on his tail. Colo needs to top himself back off. Couple healing waves do connect. Looks like he jukes out those kicks. Great job by him. But that was the Vendetta and the Arcane Power from Bean and Grayson committed in that opener to force all those defensive cooldowns. So now they have nothing left for another about 20 or 30 seconds, but the full kidney shot lands onto Samayam. There's the Iron Bark from Gorecki. Samayam about 30% life, catching those heals, catching back up in his life.
Yeah, what an important moment that was for Samayam. He managed to hold on to that blur, so he has that to fall back onto, and now the Chaos Nova into the Stormbolt onto Colo. Colo's doing a good job with his mana. He's purging out Samayam when they do decide to get aggressive, but he needs to keep himself alive. Vendetta available for Bean. Commits it onto Samayam, but Samayam, he trinkets out. He has that blur available as well. He's just going to be kiting away back to Gorecki. Completely fine in this situation, and Smexon still just tearing into Colo, making sure he's pressured throughout this entire game.
And the Ascendance fades from Colo as well, so that's really his last line of defense besides that Spirit Link Totem. Colo trying to get some heals off. There's the Vendetta committed from Bean as well, trying to get any type of counter pressure. The full kidney shot lands now onto Samayam. He has no trinket, but there's no CC on the Gorecki. Gorecki just doing a great job line of sighting, but Colo getting very low. Astral Shift using it as a line of defense to survive. Does get interrupted there on that healing wave, has the Spirit Link and barely gets it off.
Oh, able to survive those executes coming in from Smexon. Demon Form committed by Samayam as they connect over onto Colo, but Samayam having to play a little bit defensive. He's kind of scared. Full blind onto Gorecki. He can trinket out of it. He does. Full kidney shot onto Samayam. Iron Bark still not traded out. Samayam's going to be very hard to take down if he just decides to play defensive and run away and kite. He still has the darkness available to him, and Colo is running out of time. At any moment, Samayam can sort of tag in and try to take Colo down, and eventually he does. That strategy coming in from Method Black, very solid. They're able to keep that pressure onto Colo. Samayam can kite away. Because he's on the Demon Hunter, at any moment he can get back and assist Smexon to close out the game.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what
Novos going to be backing his team up with some heals on Restoration Shaman. Chun-Li on the Windwalker Monk, and Valito on that Deadly Frost Death Knight.
Yeah, and we did have some player interviews coming in as well, and Milkman was saying that they just did not play as well as they think they could. So we're going to see completely new, or hopefully see a completely new Sneakier Snakes come out here. And I'm not really exactly sure how this matchup is favored. I mean, we saw the poll coming in around 50-50, so this could really go either way. But I would have to give that Windwalker DK the edge, that Frost Death Knight and the Windwalker setups with that grip, the leg sweep, the Fist of Fury. Their setups are really incredible, but Sneakier Snakes isn't going to rush into things or playing back at Dillypoo, making that cooking fire to really just stay comfortable.
Yeah, we see Valito immediately opened on by Cyfoxy. Dillypoo getting peeled away, though, by Chun-Li. Good backup from Chun-Li. We see a bash on the Novos. Dilly not able to secure a trap just yet. They may even look to triple attack. Dilly moves in, looks for a bursting shot, doesn't manage to land it. He's trying his best to land a trap on Novos, but Novos is slipping away, and Chun-Li manages to snag that trap. That's going to put Sneakier Snakes so far behind.
Yeah, Sneakier Snakes, though, with every defensive cooldown still available besides that Archangel. So Milkman doing a great job of keeping his team stabilized there in that first go, even though that wasn't, very good for them offensively. They're trying to just kind of settle into this game here before that next CC does land. So it's going to be a stun onto Novos into some type of trap, some type of fear off of that, and they're going to look to really take down Valido in these CC chains onto Novos.
What's interesting from Tilted is they're focusing so much on defense. I mean, all three players are just here behind the pillar, and I'm really wondering what they're intending to do later on, because Novos' mana is not looking good. He's already down 30%. We see an interrupt landed into a bash, and Chun-Li is dipping low. This is dangerous for Chun-Li. Is he going to be able to handle the pressure? He portals out of line of sight of Dilly. Novos manages to get out of the trap, and he's going to be able to connect a lot of healing waves, stabilizing Chun-Li. But still, Tilted, they seem to be a little bit nervous here. This is their last chance to qualify. They're going to grip Dillypoo in, but he's just immediate life grip back to safety. So I'm really interested to see if Tilted can get aggressive here, because it seems like they're sort of on the back foot.
Yeah, in that last go, Novos was actually bashed up, and Valido ate the trap coming out from Dillypoo. So great job by Valido, but here's some more pressure. There's the bursting shot onto Novos. Valido about under half life. So much damage coming in from Dillypoo and Cyfoxy. Dillypoo using that human trinket to get out of those stuns, but Valido not out of the woods yet. Has that Icebound Fortitude if he wants to use it. Novos does get stunned up there and has a lot of defensive cooldown to choose from. What's it going to be? Just casting those healing waves out, topping Valido back off. But as you were just saying, Novos 50% mana so soon into this game. Sneakier Snakes playing a very defensive game here.
Yep, triple blinding sheet from the Death Knight there. That could set up some pressure into the triple Fists of Fury. Finally, Tilted are pulling the trigger. They're going after Milkman. Dilly, there's the dragon out from Valido. He's going all in. He's trying to find a kill. Will they get it? Milkman under pressure. He needs to escape to safety. Trades up pain suppression. Dilly's forced to retreat with Aspect of the Turtle. And suddenly, Tilted have found a way back into this game.
Yeah, finally a ton of damage coming out there from Tilted. That was the pain suppression and the turtle use from Dilly, and the pressure isn't relenting yet. Valido 50% uses that Icebound Fortitude, and that is the incarnation committed from Cyfoxy as well. We want to see some CC coming out onto Novos for Valido to dip down any farther, and the incarnation from Cyfoxy is just almost halfway over now. The Archangel coming out from Milkman to top his team back off, but Chun-Li and Valido still taking so much pressure from the jungle cleave of Sneakier Snakes.
All right, Dilly looks like he's setting up a Wyvern Sting, but that needs to be cross-crowd controlled or Chun-Li can dispel it. It looks like Chun-Li's going to peel them away with a Fist of Fury. He's going to use the Wyvern Sting defensively on the Monk. I like that play to try and slow him down. Unfortunately, ended up breaking a bit prematurely. Novos is on a clock. His mana is dipping low. The crowd control chain could be pulled at any time. Cyfoxy's dipping in and out. Looks like he might go for a bash soon. They grip Milkman in, but he goes for a double fear to try and peel them away, but ultimately he's caught into the leg sweep. Chooses to trinket out. I think that's a smart play with Pillar of Frost pop from Valido. His damage is going to be increased significantly. He gets peeled away from Cyfoxy. Milkman should survive now. Valido's on the back foot with that full trap. Landed in the back line. Dilly follows it up with a bursting shot. Valido hangs on by a thread, trying to stay alive. Novos going for the heals. Manages to get one. Can he sneak in another healing wave? Gets another. Valido somehow stabilizing. Skullbash lands at the last second, but I think Valido should be okay. They're going to grip Dilly in. Unfortunately, Cyfoxy was not hit by that Fist of Fury. That's going to put them behind. Dilly is still low. Who's going to fall at this point? Still anyone's game. Milkman has the mana lead, but the pressure every time they get a trap onto Novos is so deadly.
Sneakier Snakes with no defensive cooldowns. Dillypoo at 40% life. Very scary. That's the Archangel from Milkman trying to get all of those Shadowmans connecting onto Dilly to stabilize his life. That's a touch of karma coming out from Chun-Li as well. Novo so disciplined to hold on to that Spirit Link earlier. Now he's going to have it for later, but there's the double leg sweep coming out. Dillypoo human triggers out, jumps away, tries to do anything he can to survive, but Chun-Li and Valido taking so much pressure. Spirit Link still available from Novos, so he can throw it out at any point to keep his team back alive. Chun-Li, Valido, and Novos playing very defensive here onto this pillar. They think if they can live, they win, but as far as mana goes, Milkman, Dillypoo, and Cyfoxy are so far ahead. They don't have defensive cooldowns though, so Tilted really is looking for that one big go where they grip in, get the leg sweep, get the Fist of Fury, maybe throw out that Touch of Death, and one-shot Sneakier Snakes, and Sneakier Snakes is really looking to play a much more passive game and win with mana.
Yeah, Tilted are trying their best to hang in with almost zero mana in the tank on Novos. A massive cooldown lead, though. If they can make a swap to Milkman with a Death Grip, that's going to be their opening. They have about 20 seconds to do it, but they commit the Death Grip onto Dilly. He just trinkets out of that for free, disengages out of the fray. They're kiting the Pillar of Frost. They need to avoid Valido for as long as they can. He's going to be doing a lot of damage right now. Is he going to be able to kite it out? Looks like they're just going to tank it, but that's a deadly decision. Dilly dipping dangerously low. Aspect of the Turtle on 5%. He barely stays alive. That was a greedy play from Dilly to play aggressive, but it might pay off. Valido is still low, and Novos is out of mana. The Feral Refake casts the Feral. Will he be able to find no trades of the Spirit Link right before that crowd control? An important decision there. Novos realizing he doesn't have mana to heal through sustained damage, but he's got the cooldown, so he's going to be burning through those one by one to keep his team alive.
And that was one of the last defensive cooldowns available from Tilted. Valido, though, has that Icebound Fortitude that just came back up, so that's the next cooldown defensively that Tilted wants to cycle through. Now Milkman goes in that full Paralyze. The Blood Elf Silence coming on to Dillypoo and Cyfoxy. Cyfoxy Cyfoxy just staying bare from Dillypoo. No trinkets available, no aspect of the troll available. This next go from Tilted is very scary. Milkman has the trinket, has that pain suppression, can sustain his team for a little bit longer, but Chun-Li and Valido still have the trinket, and Chun-Li's trinket comes up in 1 second, has that touch of karma. Valido, trinket to Icebound Fortitude. Really the story to tell is Novo's mana.
Here we go, another Death Grip setup. Milkman deciding to trinket out of the paralysis, realizing that Dillypoo does not have personal defensive cooldowns, so Milkman will use his trinket to save Dillypoo instead. Now Dillypoo is trying to get aggressive, but again, it's a risky gamble with Valido having Pillar of Frost activated. It's a race to the finish. Chun-Li panics, he trinkets out, he gets the karma out in time. Novos is completely tapped on mana. They're gonna make a swap to Valido. He's got Icebound Fortitude to reset his health. That's gonna be the only saving grace for Novos as dampening starts to mount higher and higher. Chun-Li is still dangerously low. As they're looking to claim it, they find it with a huge ferocious bite. Sneakier snakes coming in hot.
Yeah, I cannot believe Chun-Li actually died through that touch of karma. He touched at karma at about 40% life, and the jungle cleave just went right through it and just killed him straight through with that trap. Sneakier snakes versus Tilted.
Yeah, here we go. Game number 2. We're 3 seconds away from this battle that will ultimately have to begin. Novos, Chun-Li, and Valido are immediately retreating to their pillar, and it looks like they may focus on that same defensive strategy. And we're going to have to see if the Unholy Death Knight specialization changes enough to allow them to get to the late game that they were playing for in Game 1.
And the story from last game was Novos' mana, so that's really what we want to keep an eye on as well. I'm not sure if he changed his specialization, but if he did and is playing that bottomless depths talent, he will be able to sustain his team a little bit longer. Now Valido has a lot of defensive cooldowns to rotate through, as Unholy Dillypoo once again with that cooking fire, getting very comfortable here in this matchup. Milkman sitting at his pillar as well, and Cyfoxy still sitting in stealth. And the main thing from Sneakier Snakes that we want to keep an eye on as well is that Incarnation cooldown. It's just so much damage. As you see, they killed Chun-Li through that touch of karma 100-0 pretty much twice just with that Incarn. So that's what we want to keep an eye on.
Sneaky play there from Tilted. They managed to catch Milkman in with a Death Grip, and they get his trinket out very early on. A nice clutch Death Grip from Valido. It looks like they're still trying to go after him, but Dilly has diffused the situation with a well-timed Wyvern Sting. Let's see who Cyfoxy and Dilly decide to sink their teeth into. They've managed to land a trap on Novos. No real pressure coming out just yet. Of course, the Feral Druid needs to set up his bleeds. Cyfoxy's doing his best to get that going on Chun-Li right now. Valido's already retreating away, and again, it looks like a game where Tilted are playing scared.
Yeah, that was the bash on a trap onto Novos, and Valido still taking a little bit of damage. That's the Incarnation finally coming out from Cyfoxy. That was the true shot from Dillypoo, though it does fade. The pain suppression coming out from Milkman as well to keep his team afloat. Novos popping that Ascendant, so back and forth defensive cooldowns from both teams to really keep them eye to eye now. The full trap coming out of Novos. Chun-Li in a little bit of trouble here, pops that wall, and the Icebound Fortitude from Valido. So quickly into this game, Tilted's rotating through their defensives fast.
Yeah, they're going to be falling behind, but Novos does have an Earthen Shield Totem, and nice pressure on Cyfoxy as he overextended for a couple of seconds. He immediately met almost an untimely demise. Milkman's trying to pick him back up, timing some clarity of Will Shields. They grip Milkman in. I think these grips onto the healer are going to be very important for Tilted to get a kill earlier on. You can already see the mana is in favor of Novos this time around, so they need to make sure these death grip pressures keep happening on cooldown. They still have damage. Apocalypse. Oh, that was a ton of damage. Milkman barely hanging on, trying to get behind the pillar, but there's so many interrupts to get through. Is Milkman even going to stay alive? He's Shining Forces Valido away. Amazing knockback from Milkman. He manages to get out of line of sight, but Valido is in hot pursuit. Novos was kind of left behind, though, in the midfield, and Valido's falling behind as a result. Novos is trying to reconnect to get some heals, but now he's got to deal with the interrupts. He does nice interrupt there from Dilly. He's going to get through one. Cyfoxy not in a position. They stun Cyfoxy to deny any potential interrupt. Novos will recover, but that was a close call for Milkman.
That was some great offensive pressure from Tilted, but it's looking to be switched around here by Sneakier Snakes. That full trap lands onto Novos, and Chun-Li is forced to pop that touch of karma. Valido 50% as well. No Icebound Fortitude, no trinket. Has that AMS cooldown to top himself back off. Now the defensive Wyvern from Dillypoo coming out onto Chun-Li to really sustain himself and his team. Now the bash coming out onto Novos. Valido and Chun-Li both in trouble now. Very scary as the AMC comes out.
Oh, a nice explosive trap there, knocking Valido out of the anti-magic zone for just a second to get a little bit of extra damage from Cyfoxy. Milkman's mana is not looking good. This is a much better strategy from Tilted, making these swaps to the healer. They almost took Milkman down. If they can do another clean setup, maybe they can find the kill, because he's running out very low on defensive cooldowns, whereas Novos has the Spearlink Totem. He can stay aggressive with his team. We see another swap on the Milkman, but Valido is low. Everybody on the team is low. He Spirit Links, but the trap of Milkman just gets bursted anyway. They tried their best to counter pressure. They're still going for counter pressure. Stun onto Novos. Valido is still very low. He's going to go down. We got a cross kill, 2v2. Novos is in a tough position. He's caught into a stun. Is he going to be able to handle Cyfoxy on his back? He trades out Astral Shift. He's trying to get a healing wave. He gets interrupted by Dillypoo. Cyfoxy, though, is healing. Instead of staying aggressive, he's trying to heal himself back up. And now that all the pressure has been lost, Novos is going to be able to restabilize. And healer DPS versus double DPS is almost always favored to the healer. Dilly and Cyfoxy need a miracle.
If Novos and Chun-Li can just stabilize, they'll absolutely win this game. Now the full leg sweep into the Fist of Fury, landing on a Cyfoxy. He's going to go down. Now a Hunter versus a Windwalker Monk and a Resto Shaman. This is not the greatest story here for Dillypoo. It looks like Novos and Chun-Li are going to take it. Dillypoo is trying his best to fight it out, but that'll be all.
Yep. All the way down to the wire there when both teams decided to just be cutthroat, gunning after the healer. So
it's really just that defensive cooldown rotationing from Sneakier Snakes that we want to keep an eye out with the paint suppressions, with the powered barriers. Then offensively, I want to see Dillypoo and Cyfoxy landing more traps and kind of rotating through their True Shot and Incarn, and then stacking them when they can, but kind of rotating through, get Valido's Icebound Fortitude, get the Trinkets forced out. Novos is playing Relentless, so every single trap is going to be full. Every single trap is a potential opportunity.
All right, Dilly's just going to start the fight, just pew-pewing away with his bow and not really committing too much. Cyfoxy's trying to get a couple of rake bleeds going and get his combo points built up before the attack begins. Looks like Tilted are taking that slow start approach. Maybe they're trying to see if Milkman gets impatient. They death grip, but Dilly instantly disengages. Nice play from Dilly.
Yeah, that was a beautiful evasion tactic from Dillypoo to get out of a dodge before that leg sweep actually did land, but Novo's taking some damage, Chun-Li taking some damage as well. Cyfoxy holding onto that Incarnation, not quite using all of his offensive pressure yet, and Dillypoo, the trap does not quite land there onto Novos, unfortunately. But there's the bursting, maybe get some CC. There's the full trap there onto Novos, so Chun-Li and Valido in a little bit of trouble now.
Here comes the swap, though, and this is what I was talking about. They need to protect Milkman. Cyfoxy's going to use Thorns to try and deflect the attack, but I believe Novos might have purged it off. Milkman's trying to retreat away. This big map gives him that ability to do so, and now Valido can't chase after him. He's under fire, so they're going to immediately switch to Cyfoxy. It's a race to the finish with Novos getting interrupted, trying to land another healing wave, manages to catch it. Cyfoxy was forced to pull away. At the same time, these teams are both going for the throat. We can see Chun-Li just training down Dilly, waiting for a setup. Valido moves in. There's another death grip attempt. Is Milkman going to be able to survive? Leg sweep falls. Nice explosive trap knock into a stun on Valido. Really great peel. Sneakier Snakes playing this setup onto Milkman almost perfectly, but it doesn't even matter. Double blood off silence, and Milkman could fall. He catches a clutch powered shield, and now Valido is dangerously low as Milkman is crossing literally the desert to try and get away from this pain train, but he just can't close the gap. He barely catches the Shadow Man. He hangs on with one more penance. Milkman stays in it, but no, Valido grips him back into the fight, says you are going nowhere.
Does get restunned though. Trinkets running to the pillar. Milkman finally trying to sustain himself, and now Valido's in trouble. Doesn't have Icebound Fortitude, no Trinket either. Novos goes into that full trap, has that Spirit Link available, but has no means to get it off quite yet if the CC chain extends. Valido now 30% life. They really want to get this pressure back onto Milkman to keep Sneakier Snakes on the back foot. Cyfoxy popping a wall. Novos actually throwing that Spirit Link totem down. Little interesting choice there, but he keeps his team offensive, and now the full stun coming out on the Milkman. Probably some Fist of Furies to go after that. Now Milkman 50% life. Very scary moment.
Yeah, he's catching some nice heals there, but he gets interrupted by Chun-Li. Is Valido going to have the follow-up interrupt? He fake casts the Mind Freeze. Nice play from Milkman. He's going to catch a lot of Shadowmans, and those Thorns from Cyfoxy put Chun-Li and Valido so far behind. Nice Thorns from Cyfoxy this whole game. Now Valido's desperately trying to stay alive. Novos drops the Healing Tide totem. He's trying to fake cast the interrupts. Can Novos get through the interrupts or not is a question here. He needs a healing wave soon for Valido. He's dipping low. He goes for the healing wave. He gets line of sighted at the ending. Now he activates the Spirit Grace. He's going to get the heals. Valido barely hanging on. Chun-Li down at half. They're trying to set up some damage on the Cyfoxy. He's down at 30%, forced to trade out the survival instincts. Lands a Skull Bash. Dilly moves in. He's looking for a trap. Double bursting shot. Valido is all alone. Will they be able to have enough damage? He's trying to desperately run away. Corpse Shield redirecting the damage for a few seconds. He needs a couple more. Trap is now faded. Is Novos going to be able to keep him alive?
Valido 20% life, no defensive cooldowns from the team of Tilted at all. I'm not sure how Valido's going to survive this. Novos tried to get the cast off, but he does get interrupted. Valido not out of the woods yet. Chun-Li and Valido finally stabilizing, and this is what happens. They need to turn the pressure back onto Milkman to keep Sneakier Snakes on the back foot. As much as they want to hit Cyfoxy, it's hurting them in the long run. Now Valido, Novos, and Chun-Li playing very defensive, trying to just get those healing waves caught up back up, and now the bash coming out of Novos. If this follows up with any CC at all, there's the full trap, and Chun-Li is the target of choice. Very interesting, and the Touch of Karma going to stabilize
but Cyfoxy on 10% with a stun on the Milkman, and boom, he's just going to go down. Valido claiming the kill with a well-timed Apocalypse. Very well played there from both teams, but ultimately, Tilted are going to come out ahead now 2-1.
that big of a factor in this matchup. I think it's mostly the comp and how the Windwalker DK is actually adapting to the series here.
All right, the gates have opened. This is do or die for both of these teams. Sneakier Snakes need a first place finish, and so does Tilted to have any hope of going to the spring finals. Tilted are in the lead. It's been a nail biter back and forth. Sorry, how do you think the start of this fight's gonna go?
I think Valido and Chun-Li are going to go for those grips onto Milkman and try to force as many defensive cooldowns from Sneakier Snakes as they can. And that's really like the point, right? Like we can't have power barrier and pain suppression and trinket being used from Milkman in one go. We have to rotate through those a little bit slower if Sneakier Snakes actually wants to survive, because later you have nothing left for Cyfoxy if they want to do a swap. It looks like Chun-Li spots Cyfoxy and they're going to initiate the fight.
All right, it looks like Tilted are focusing on this defensive strategy, as Zico pointed out in the replay. They're trying to bait Milkman in by attacking Cyfoxy, and as soon as Milkman gets in range, they're going to death grip him and make a swap. So watch Milkman's positioning.
Yep, and Milkman does have that knockback available as well for when that death grip comes in to try to counteract that Chun-Li. Now porting behind the pillar, casting fuses, the healing waves coming back off to top Chun-Li, but now Cyfoxy jumping in, getting stunned immediately with the Fist of Fury. So much damage coming out, and the life grip back out from Milkman X.
Really clutch save from Milkman X. He made it really annoying by staying far away, and Tilted got tilted. They just had to start a fight on the Feral Druid instead, and Milkman instantly deflected it. So this is a great start for Sneakier Snakes. Now they need to get aggressive and look for crowd control. Novos has used a pre-Earthen Shield Totem, but it doesn't matter. They're dogpiling on Novos to try and eat a trap. Doesn't look like Dillypoo's even going to try and go for it. Cyfoxy is the target, but now they grip in Milkman for the swap. These are the deadly swaps. Milkman trinkets into a silence. He retreats away. Well-timed Wyvern Sting and trap onto Novos and Chun-Li. Dilly crowd controlling the whole team and denying any sort of pressure on his healer. Really well done. And now Valido is on the back foot. Novos is in a hard position to try and pick him back up. Will Novos be able to get a healing wave out? He desperately needs a healing wave, but he's just trying to rely on Riptides. He's falling more and more behind. Even Novos is rotting down. They got a little bit of spread pressure on him. He catches one healing wave, needs to go for another. Valido is just hiding for his life. They're going to grip Milkman in. They followed up with the leg sweep. This is the setup to win. Will they find another cooldown? Pain suppression going to be traded out this time for Milkman. Pain suppression should be enough, but can Milkman get away from this deadly duo?
And that was the Incarnation and True Shot from Dillypoo, so pressure is kind of a little bit less now from Sneakier Snake's side. But as I say that, Valido gets very low. Novo's barely getting off that Spirit Link to save, and that was Earthen Shield Totem as well, so every defensive cooldown from Tilted now being used. Milkman rotating through his own defensives very nicely, but as I say that, he gets gripped in, asphyxiate stun, being trinketed immediately into that Fist of Fury stun.
No!
Milkman going into the Blood Elf Silence, 10% life. How is he going to survive this one? Barely getting away with those penances. To come out. Shadowman's connecting, finally topping himself back off a little bit, but now the kick from Valido coming out as well. The trap comes out onto Novos.
The double fear. Milkman's in a hard position, but Valido is dipping low as well. He could easily fall. Milkman is recovered. Valido is in full retreat. Dilly's right on top of him. Any crowd control on Novos could easily close the match, but Cyfoxy's overextending at the same time. Milkman's trying to get in position. Cyfoxy ducks out. Milkman's very far away from the fight. He needs to stay really far away and avoid death grip as long as possible. Now both teams are starting to stabilize. Mana is completely even. This is still anybody's match. Milkman could get swapped to. Novos could get swapped to. And after that moment where everyone on Tilted was at 10%, I don't know. If I'm Novus, I'm a bit nervous in this position, and we can see a full stun on Valido. Wyvern Sting preemptively used. That's not going to be able to peel off a swap to Milkman later. Dilly did a great job with Wyvern Stings earlier, but this one was a little bit premature, and now that's not available to save Milkman. Do we see an explosive trap? Will Milkman be able to survive? They use a maim stun on Chun-Li instead. Milkman's trying to get out of the fight. Chun-Li's right on his back. Valido decides, okay, I can't chase after him. I'm going to pull back to Novos, try and stay alive. He's trying to get away, but it might not be enough, and it's not. Sneakier Snakes bite back 2-2. We're going to game 5.
Yeah, and that was just, Novos eventually got full trapped into that full bash, and I was very scared for Valido going into.
These teams really tear each other apart. Can Milkman stay alive, or will he fall?
And we want to see a lot of good offensive setups from Sneakier Snakes come out onto Tilted. What that means is a bash or some type of stun onto Novos into that trap and into a possible fear when tons of pressure onto Valido. This time, Cyfoxy and Dillypoo getting right in there, starting with that bleed pressure over onto Valido.
All right, Milkman's playing very far away so far. Valido's actually already down at half HP. With Novos in crowd control, double bursting from Dilly, making the plays. Valido's so far on the back foot, had to trade out almost all of his defensive cooldowns at this point. He's still just dying. Novos got rooted behind the pillar. He's trying to play catch up with the Ascendance popped. He gets interrupted now by Dillypoo. Dillypoo is on fire with his opening pressure. Now a Skull Bash from Cyfoxy. Now a knockout of line of sight. The pressure is mounting more and more. Novos is trying to squeeze some healing waves out. He's still catching him up. Valido is still low. The next trap onto Novos. Novos could easily end the game.
And that was the Icebound Fortitude from Valido as well. He's being absolutely run down by Dillypoo and Cyfoxy in this game. And guess what? Cyfoxy still has that Incarnation. So when he pops that, Valido is going to be a dead man. There's the full trap coming on the Novos. The Incarnation committed from Cyfoxy. Valido 40% life. This is so scary. Corpse Shield answered in return from Valido, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, he's trying to use his runic power on Death Strike to heal himself. He's managed to stay alive, but that was the scariest moment for him there. He grips Dillypoo in, but Cyfoxy dodges the double stun, and Milkman grips Dillypoo away. Nice defensive play from Sneakier Snakes. Cyfoxy trying to retreat away. He's not going to go behind that pillar anytime soon. He's been put on the back foot, and I love the defensive awareness from Cyfoxy. Sometimes when you're playing on the ladder, you're melee, they run out of your line of sight of heals, but Cyfoxy's communicating very well with his healer, and he's still keeping pressure up with Valido down at 30%, Chun-Li down at 30%, and Novos in a full trap. Everybody is just dying at this point. Will Valido be able to hang on? This is match point to stay alive in the upper bracket. Novos barely gets the Spirit Link, and now it's time for Tilted to strike back. They land the leg sweep. Milkman is trying to get away. Can they stay on his back? I don't think they can. There's too much pressure in favor of Sneaky Snakes as Valido might fall. Another interrupt landing on the Novos. There's almost nothing left. The healing wave after healing wave barely keeps them in this game.
Couple healing waves from Novos actually do land, but now the stun in onto Novos. Maybe a trap after that. Looks like a bursting shot onto Novos as well if the full trap lands. There it is. Maybe some follow-up CC from Milkman, but Valido about 25% life. No defensive cooldowns available. There's that short fear onto Novos. Valido and Chun-Li both dipping still. No defensive cooldowns at all from Tilted. Sneakier Snakes have a dominating lead in this game.
Novos is, he's soaked every single interrupt in the game. Sneakier Snakes have a 100% interrupt rate. And against a jungle Cleave 100% interrupt rate, you're going to be so far behind for the whole fight. Novos is trying to stay alive. They're desperately trying to swap the Milkman. They're barely killing it through pain suppression. He's trying to make it out of line of sight. Valido, he's going to go all in, I think, but they get knocked away. Nice Shining Force. We see a Wyvern Sing Novos into the trap. Valido and Chun-Li are both so low at 10%. Dillypoo's right on top of him. Luckily, Cyfoxy got peeled away by Chun-Li. That bought Valido time to heal, but these knock traps have been perfect for Dillypoo to keep Valido in his sights.
I cannot believe Valido is still in this game here. He's been 1% life multiple times. That was the pain suppression being used from Milkman. Still has a lot of defensive cooldowns to rotate through. There's the Paralyze coming out. Chun-Li getting low. No Touch of Karma available. Does use that Fortifying Brew to stabilize himself, doing the best job he can to kite around as well as Novos goes into that full trap. Chun-Li doing anything he can to survive, healing himself with the fuses in the room, not going to make himself available as a kill target from Dillypoo and Cyfoxy, but they are just connecting onto another target. Novos and Valido still can't top themselves back off.
I don't know. Novos he's tanked way too many interrupts. He's so far behind. He's barely getting, now another interrupt landed. He could just die. Everybody is dying on Novos' team. He's just struggling to stay, he's squirming to stay alive. He's on 5%. He barely hangs on. Ascendant Spot, he needs this. He gets bursting shot on the heel. Dillypoo is relentless. He lands a trap now on the heel. Valido and Chun-Li are so low. They can easily just stun Novos out of this maybe and kill him. Cyfoxy's right on top of him, waiting to land a Skull Bash. You can see it in Cyfoxy's eye. He's fake cast a Skull Bash. Luckily for Novos there, he gets through an interrupt. He's finally able to get some casts off. This has just been so far in favor of Sneakier Snakes, but if we look at the mana, Milkman's not looking too hot.
I don't know how Tilted is still alive as Cyfoxy goes into that Fist of Fury with that Paralyze onto Milkman. There's the Rapture and the Archangel, but the follow-up CC. Milkman, no trinket available. There's the wall from Cyfoxy as well. 10% life. He's running around in cat form trying to stay alive the best as he can. Now the full trap landing onto Novos as well. Chun-Li and Valido still have some defensive cooldowns to rotate through, so Tilted isn't going to be out of this quite yet. But now Sneakier Snakes with Milkman out of mana with no defensive cooldowns at all. If Tilted can survive a little bit longer, but the bash coming out onto Novos. This is a very scary situation. Valido still has that Icebound Fortitude, still has that trinket. Touch of Karma and Fortifying Brew from Chun-Li available, but their health bars are not going up. Dillypoo and Cyfoxy doing such a good job of continuing that offensive pressure on over to Tilted. I really want Novos to top off Chun-Li and Valido, but there's the full trap, the Icebound Fortitude from Valido being popped. Milkman goes into that stun. Human Trinkets out immediately. The Fist of Fury follow-up stun to survive. Dillypoo just goes down. So much damage from Tilted connecting, and I cannot believe they took this game.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Novos got carried so hard. That was the hardest carry by Valido and Chun-Li. I don't even understand how they won that game after Roasties on that Assassination Rogue. So, sorry, how about you break down, what is the Rejects' main goal in this matchup?
I just love their composition at first. Arcane Assassin into this Prot Paladin and the Windwalker is wonderful. And wow, Flarkness and Justin just going super aggressive right off the start. But the Jamili and Roasties really want us to slow down the game. Arcane Explosion, Arcane Barrage with that Resonance Talon, just spreading that pressure. But the Vendetta being committed immediately from Roasties with the Kidney Shot. But there is a slight gap, and JC does survive with that Touch of of Karma.
Yeah, he's going to use a Touch of Karma and try to go after Rubcub. Rubcub using that human racial to break out of the stun. He's trying to stack up some shields with the clarity of will, and he's pre-timing these shields for a next big push. Justin still has Way of the Crane, and that's going to be basically 2 monks just punching away at Rubcub. He's still holding on to it. Rubcub's actually under a lot of surprising damage right now. They polymorph the healer. Rubcub is still down at half. JC, though, with no Touch of Karma, might need to consider kiting away at this point if there's any more damage available for him. Full blind, Justin trinkets out. He pops away of the crane, gets feared on the way of the crane. Well done from Rubcub. He buys himself a bit of breathing room here. Another polymorph onto Justin, mind control onto the Prot Warrior, and right now the rejects are focusing on surviving.
And that was the Rapture and the Archangel committed from Rubcub there in that Ghost. The next Ghost gonna have to be Trinket or Power or Pain Suppression to keep himself alive, but Jamili still has some offensive cooldowns. Now the double leg sweep coming out with the Paralyze onto Jamili. Rubcub's in a little bit of trouble. Now the Fist of Fury landing. This very interesting strategy coming out from Flarkness and JC here, just training down Rubcub, trying to just ride that offensive pressure onto Rubcub.
Nice triple fear into the poly. Great setup by the rejects as JC is the primary target. Is he going to crumble under the pressure down at half? Uses that portal for a heal. He's healing himself back up. Justin is still caught in a polymorph. JC tries to get some counter pressure with the double leg sweep. Paralyzed onto Jamili, who opts to trinket out of that to try and defensively polymorph. He's not finding any just yet, now finding, but he heals JC back to full. And by training the healer and forcing defensive polymorphs, they lose constant pressure.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do think the polymorphs are necessary, though, coming up from Jamili to actually just keep Rubcub alive and sustained in this game. So that means Jamili and Rosies are actually going to have to win in a burst. But here it is, Justin in the full polymorph. Now the full kidney shot with Vendetta coming out from Rosies, but the peels onto Jamili going to mean JC survives for now. Touch of Karma, though, being popped by JC to top himself back off.
Yeah, we can see Flarkness getting crowd controlled by Jamili. They're really focusing on staying alive, but they have no counter pressure, and Rubcub's mana is going down slowly but surely. His health bar is in priority right now for him. He did get a nice barrier there right before the stun combo that reduced a lot of damage. Now, though, he's trying to get through all the interrupts available. Roasties is actually kind of rotted down in the meantime as well, so Rubcub's not only going to have to worry about himself, but maybe even Roasties in a swap.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Fairly Caustic doing a great job in this game. Justin still full mana. They have plenty of defensive cooldowns, and rejects here definitely getting pressured on Rubcub. Now going to that leg sweep, popping Archangel, top himself back off. Fist of Fury does follow. That is the Way the Crane from the Mistweaver amongst Justin as well to top his team back off. Now that Fear maybe followed up with a polymorph, doesn't look like it. JC's under some trouble. That's the Arcane Power committed from Jamili as well. Tons of pressure coming out onto JC as the polymorph from Justin land. Justin has that trinket available. He's not going to use it quite yet. The CC chain does end now, and JC does look like he's going to be okay. Yeah,
we see another kidney shot. Vendetta coming up in a few moments. Justin had to use life. That's not even enough. Jamili with a ton of damage there. JC is still dangerously low. Is he going to be able to get away from the fight? Mass Spell Reflect, trying to buy time. They commit the blind. Justin's being greedy with this and not trinketing. Yeah. I'm curious as to why. I mean, he's going to get away with it, but usually if you desync your trinket with blind, then blind later can just end the game, and we see more pressure on JC with another kidney shot from Rosies. Vendetta has been committed. Justin, though, has Way of the Crane. He should be able to heal this back up pretty easily. He's going to dogpile onto Rubcub, and that's basically been the name of the game. Dogpile on Rubcub, put all the damage into him, keep him under pressure, force Jamili to spam poly, and that way the rejects never build up pressure. And I mean, ultimately, they're burning Rubcub's mana. I don't think Rubcub can actually keep this up much longer.
Now Justin now going to that full polymorph as the full kidney shot lands onto JC as well. So this is definitely very scary. Jamili did throw out an offensive ice block as he's so known for here on that CC setup as well. Now the full fear landing onto Justin. Justin still has that trinket, and I think he held a trinket on the blind because he was on that diminishing return for polymorph, so he wasn't quite scared of that sap. But now, yeah, his trinket is going to be desynced with that blind, as you were just talking about, which is a little scary. But now Rubcub still taking a ton of pressure, using that pain suppression to keep himself top back off, and that's one of his last defensive cooldowns and his last little bit of mana there as well.
All right, polymorph diminishing returns are over. That means that Jamili wants to get some damage done. Mark of Alanis, arcane missiles flying in. Will that be enough to put JC in? I don't think so. And Rubcub is out of mana, man. He's running out of time. Full leg sweep with no trinket, and the new guys are going to pull it off. The new guys, Fairly Caustic, are going to take game number 1 over the rejects. All you guys at home that voted against them might want to reconsider.
Wow, I was not expecting that at all. A Fairly Caustic just...
Sorry, can they do it?
Yeah, Justin, Flarkness, and JC looking to connect onto Rubcub once again, and immediately they do, as the leg sweep does land, paralyzed onto Jamili. He immediately trinkets to try to peel for his healer. The Archangel from Rubcub coming out. There's the Fist of Fury under Rubcub as well, as he's doing a great job to keep himself topped off, but he does get kicked and staggers a little bit.
All right, Rubcub is trying to run into the open in the corner here. That way Jamili can literally free cast Arcane Blast after Arcane Blast. Tons of damage. JC immediately uses Touch of Karma, and because of the Prot Warrior's taunt that increases damage on the target, this Karma is going to do a lot of damage, so Rubcub needs to be ready. He drops a barrier to try and deflect, and he's basically going to hunker down in this corner and just try to stay alive long enough for Jamili and Roasties to just kill them off of him. They're targeting the Prot Warrior this game a lot more. They've managed to get his shield wall out of the way and Rallying Cry. JC has no Touch of Karma, and they're stuck in the middle of the desert right now with no point of retreat, so Fairly Caustic could be in a dire situation shortly.
So something that Jamili and Roasties are doing is they're going for the polymorphs first on the Justin and then blinding. So Justin's just sitting the full blind because he knows there's no sap to follow it, and it's really paying off because he gets to hold his trinket. I love Rubcub's positioning also in the corner of this map, allows Jamili and Roasties to really just slow down this game as much as they want without that pillar, any line of sight at all. So Rubcub, I love how he's playing in the corner, even though it might seem a little bit strange. Now the Stormbolt landing on the Jamili, looks like he's going to be fine for now. The Rubcub does get kicked though into that little leg sweep. It was actually DR'd, so Rubcub is going to escape out alive.
Yeah, and with Archangel pop, this healing is going to be really high. I don't think they're going to be killing Rubcub anytime soon now with that misplay there from JC. In the meantime, though, Jamili's trying to build up pressure for his team with a polymorph on Justin, but the entire team is at full HP, even with a full polymorph, and now he's forced to polymorph defensively. Unfortunately, I would like to see these polymorphs used during stuns, because now Jason's going to have free reign during the next stun, and I think Justin is going to use his leg sweep, which Rubcub is really not respecting. He trinkets a little bit late. It should be more than enough to keep him alive. But if he even second guesses himself, he definitely could go down. It's basically triple DPS when Way of the Crane is popped.
That is Way of the Crane, and the full polymorph comes out on Justin. This is where Roasties could potentially do a swap, and it looks like they might. The cheap shot's now coming out of Justin, and here's a swap on Justin. No Way of Crane available. Justin taking so much damage. That was the arcane power committed from Jamili as well. The kidney shot connects. Justin is forced to shrink it, so that's exactly what Zico was talking about. Getting those setups outside of the fear, outside of those polymorphs on the Justin. I absolutely love it from the rejects.
Yeah, but Justin retreated away. Very well timed. Way of the Crane is now shortly going to be available, and Flarkness has all of his defensive, so he's not really going to be a kill target for quite some time. JC is going to be the primary focus with this kidney shot. No trinket for a couple of seconds. They need to kill JC during this burst window, but Flarkness intervening him, and that Prot Warrior utility is making JC so tanky in this position that he's barely hanging on. It looks like he's low, but it's a little bit misleading. Now finally, it's over. He's forced to retreat away with a fear. Jamili blinks on top, and JC finds a kill with that arcane barrage, and the rejects strike back. They're not going to let the new guys run away with this easily. Well played there by the rejects. I love the positioning from Rubcub in that game. Fairly Caustic has been dogpiling down Rubcub in the past 2 games. Let's see if Rubcub can deflect the assault while Jamili and Roasties look to set up for a kill of their own.
And I'm interested to see where Rubcub's going to position. He's spamming out those Clarity of Wills on himself, and looks like he is going to stick on the room like Zico and I were talking about. Cheap shots coming immediately all around from Roasties. Actually, just onto JC here as they get a huge opener with Arcane Power from Jamili. No CC quite yet onto Justin as he pops that Way the Crane.
Ooh, a lot of damage on the Rubcub early on. He got stunned on his trinket. Archangel pain suppression. He got pummeled on the penance. He needs to fake cast. He's on 1%. He barely stays alive on 1%. That could have just been it for him right there. That was such a close call.
I cannot believe he survived, but that was a lot of defensive cooldowns committed from rejects as Roasties and Jamili connect with that kidney shot over onto Justin. No Way the Crane available to get out of it. There is the bubble and the cocoon and the wall from Justin. So a lot of defensive cooldowns coming out immediately from both sides, but I'm scared for Rubcub. He does use his trinket there on that go, which is a very interesting trinket choice from Rubcub. Now he has no trinket, no pain suppression, using that Rapture to sustain his life bar, but I'm scared another go from that when he has no trinket, no pain suppression available.
Oh, Jamili just ice blocked that Stormbolt. I don't think the Arcane Mage is a viable swap target. Maybe he is with like with a paralysis. I'm actually wondering if they're going to try and punish that. Jamili doesn't have a trinket either. Looks like they're happy to just keep training down the Priest, though. Keep it simple, man. If it works, just keep it simple. Rubcub's under fire again, down at half HP, trying to retreat away. Jamili gets paralysis. He can't peel for his team. Rosie's getting Thundercloud. The pressure is on. Justin goes for another paralysis onto Jamili. He's trying to land a stun on Jamili to deny polymorphs while they get aggressive. Jamili trinkets out. He's desperately trying to peel. Lands one more poly. They kidney shot Justin for a swap, but they're not even getting the trinket here. It was so important to get the trinket from him. Now Justin can rely on that and stay aggressive.
That was the full kidney shot on Justin, but there was no damage to follow. The arcane power now being committed from Jamili onto Justin when that counterspell lands, but Justin's around line of sight. Rosie's not going to be able to connect as he goes in that Fist of Fury stun by JC. Now the double fear coming out from Rubcub, and now Justin looks like he's going to be completely fine, and that was the arcane power from Jamili, but Vendetta available from Rosie's very soon, and that's what we're going to want to keep an eye out here for rejects. Rubcub gets pummeled. He's about 50% mana, doesn't have too many defensive cooldowns left. This is looking scary scary. He throws down the pre-barrier to negate this next go.
What is Roasty's doing? He's just stepping back. I guess he's trying to dodge the leg sweep. He's just going back and forth, waiting for the stun to be used right there, but JC did a smart job keeping him in combat and stopping a restun, but he ultimately walks into the stun, so he's going to have to sit that. He's not going to be able to peel. Rubcub used his trinket to break out of that stun, but it looks like Flarkness wants to go. He's going to pop the battle cry, trying to lead the charge for his team, and in game number 1, we saw that Rubcub kept himself alive, but his mana bar slowly got burned through, so if Fairy Caustic can stay alive to that point again, this is looking dire for Rubcub.
Yeah, and that was the karma used from JC. Now he goes into that full polymorph. Looks like Roasties and Jamili might want to make a swap, but Rubcub under half HP, going into the full leg sweep with no trinket available. Paint suppression not being available either. Rubcub is in so much trouble. Flarkness and Justin and JC all connecting now onto Rubcub. Couple Shadowmans trying to land, but he does get interrupted with the kick from the Windwalker Monk. Now the Touch of Death, Fist of Fury coming out. Rapture being used from Rubcub. He's throwing the shields all over the place, but he's still 50% life with no defensive cooldowns. I'm not sure how Rubcub's going to survive this one.
Rubcub is still down at half, but they've been doing such a great job of crowd controlling Jamili. He just can't help his team. He's Stormbolt into paralysis every single time it's available, and that's why he ice blocked out of the crowd control. That's why he's using his trick. Another Stormbolt. Jamili just can't get anything going for his team. Roasties is rotting down. His healer's running out of mana. He trinkets out of the full leg sweep, but look at that mana bar. He gets stunned again, and Rubcub could fall. He pops Archangel, boosts his healing. He needs these. He gets pummeled on the Shadowman. Goes for his sneaky penance. He's getting the clarity of wills, but he's running out of time, man. I don't think Rubcub can keep this up.
Yeah, as he gets kicked, still below half HP, hasn't been full HP in so long. Roasty's also a viable kill target. Misses the Arcane Power and the Vendetta being committed on over to Justin in that full kidney shot, but no pressure being turned around here from Rejects. Rubcub gets interrupted again, and Roasty's could potentially be a kill swap as well. He has no trinket, he has no evasion. Any CC under Rubcub and Roasty's, he could just go down. The Vendetta's about to fade. The full polymorph on the Justin. Rubcub gets interrupted once again, and Rejects is in a terrible position. Fairly Caustic, demanding lead right now.
This is completely awful. Roasty's is just in 30%. He's trying to avoid the leg sweep, but he can't attack. So he's just forced it, and he got stunned anyway. And now Rubcub caught into the leg sweep. Everybody is in trouble. Rubcub, the clock has been ran out. You are out of mana, man, and you've got no more cooldowns left. I feel like Fairly Caustic are going to claim this with amazing crowd control, and Jamili just constantly annoying him. He can't get anything going, and they've ran the clock. Roasties is still low. Rubcub has barely managed to recover his health bar, but at the cost of his mana bar. Lands a triple fear. They go for the miracle kidney shot on Flarkness, but do they have the damage to find a kill? It's a miracle if they get this. Shield wall. They deny the kill with a nice life cocoon from Justin, but they did get trinket from Justin. Now they need to get Way of the Crane, and if they can get one more big swap to Justin, maybe there's a kill opportunity there, but they have very limited time to find it.
Yeah, and that was the pain suppression used from Rubcub as well, so Rejects has nothing left at all if Fairly Caustic can get one more good setup, but Justin, all he has is that Way of the Crane. If they force Way of the Crane, Roasty's with that Vendetta that just came up. He's popping it. There's the Vendetta onto the Warrior. There's the full fear onto the Windwalker. So much burst coming in, and Flarkness drops.
Woo. That was unbelievable damage from Jamili and Roasties. I mean, the entire game, it looked like Jamili's just being annoyed.
So I think it can be played even better by the Rejects, but they're doing a good job so far.
Yeah, and this series is almost looking as spooky as that bear cameo that we got before jumping into the fight. But the gates have opened. Flarkness is just jumping in, and again, Fairly Caustic are going to keep it simple. Just run down the healer as fast as possible. And it looks like Flarkness is actually playing Mass Spell Reflect this game. That could stop some polymorphs and actually get an early kill. Let's see if it does.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time, and JC actually gets sapped there by Roasties in the opener, which is a beautiful sap by Roasties because Flarkness just ran in by himself. He did use his trinket shield wall as well, so he's a little maybe preemptive there on those cooldowns to keep himself top back off, but I love the spell reflection. There's a full polymorph though on the Justin. Flarkness with no trinket available, kidney shot, Vendetta, Arcane Power, everything committed, and there is the trinket cocoon from Justin to save Flarkness.
Yeah, and he's already used shield wall. This is actually looking very dire for Flarkness, unless they can just land a really big punch and kill Rubcub unexpectedly. I feel like Fairly Caustic are about to get knocked down to the lower bracket. They're still dogpiling. Rubcub deflects with a preemptive barrier. This barrier should be more than enough. Way of the Crane is available, but JC's used a lot of his offensives. He's got a strike of the Windlord. He's going to go for it with that interrupt landed on Rubcub. They have to pull off a miracle, but Blind denies the Way of the Crane. Very well timed by Roasties, and it's going to be just 2-on-1 towards Rubcub. Seems like he's deflecting just fine. He's still held on to Rapture. He still has pain suppression. There's Mark of Alanith. Flarkness is going to be the target, but they land a double leg sweep 5 seconds away. Rubcub is not really respecting the setup. He's holding on to pain suppression. This is a greedy move, but he's managed to get away for now. He's going to use Archangel and Rapture paired together instead to survive, and he's rotating through his cooldowns quite effectively, but with no Way of the Crane and no trinket, Justin's going to be vulnerable here, and so is Flarkness.
If Rubcub can just buy his team another minute or so, I think Rejects is going to take this. Now the full kidney shot lands onto Flarkness with that counterspell there onto Justin. There's no trinkets from Justin or Flarkness, no shield wall, no defensive cooldowns at all. There is a slight gap where Roasties and Jamili could get the pressure out they need to take down Flarkness, but Rubcub still ticking time bomb, right? He is going to die eventually. He has that pain suppression cooldown. Justin now going into the polymorph. Flarkness pops that mass spell reflection, but that's the vendetta from Roasties. Tons of damage coming out. Fear following onto Justin, out of that polymorph. Half polymorph, Flarkness goes down.
Mega damage from Jamili. You know, fairly Caustic took game number 1, and Jamili's like, okay, fine, I'm going to play with 2 hands this time, not 1 hand, and just smacks them down to the lower bracket. So really well. Nice combo on a Discipline Priest, but if Milkman has a Gnome Priest, maybe later in the series, I'm imagining he's playing Human. So, but if he can switch over to Gnome, he can just completely shut this out. The fight's going to be starting here between Sneakier Snakes and Method Black.
It's likely Method Black. They're going to be going for these long CC chains onto Milkman, try to get some pressure over onto Dilly. There's the leg sweep onto Dilly with the root beam onto Milkman. No Gnome going to be available. Big pressure out onto Dilly very early on, but Smexon also taking some heavy damage.
All right, Samayam's down at half. Smexon is down at half. Samayam's under fire, and he's in the middle of the map. This is nowhere. It's going to be so difficult to survive if they keep this positioning. The Marksmanship Hunter is going to do a ton of damage. He tried to knock him out of the Earthen Shield Totem. He's not in bear form. He trinkets. He jumps into bear form. He uses the bark skin. They're keeping Samayam pinned down during Incarnation. If they can keep the pressure on Samayam, they're going to deny a lot of damage. Nice interrupt from Dilly onto the Cyclone. Gorecki's in a tough spot. He pops Ascendance. That's going to boost his healing. He's trying to top his team off, but he overlapped with the Healing Tide Totem, and those both are AoE heals. With both those now out of the way, this AoE damage might become insurmountable.
Yeah, Sneakier 6, they committed the True Shot aura as well as that Incarnation, but at the expense, Method Black basically used every single defensive cooldown they have except the Spirit Link Totem. It's going to be up to Gorecki to make sure he keeps his team alive. There's the Bursting Shot into the trap. Smexon gets caught up in a stun. Don't think he's going to be going down here, but kind of a scary situation. That's going to force out the Touch of Karma. No, he doesn't have that available. Samayam under fire.
Yeah, Samayam has just been very low this entire game. Another interrupt lands into Gorecki. He barely gets a Spirit Link Totem. In the meantime, though, they try and set up a Root Solar Beam. They're trying to go after Dilly. He disengages away. Star Surges are flying. Double combo Star Surge. Dilly down to 30. He trades out the aspect of the turtle just to stay alive. Nice interrupt from Foxy. That's going to reset his Tiger's Fury. He's going to be doing a ton of damage very shortly with Ashamane's Frenzy. This next trap on Gorecki could dispel defeat for game number 1. And Sneakier Snakes could get ahead. It's not looking good for Method Black right now.
Yeah, nice Cyclones coming in from Samayam. Double Cyclone onto Dillypoo, then onto Foxy, really controlling up Sneakier Snakes in this moment. Smexon trying to put out some pressure with that Storm, Earth, and Fire. Incapacitate over onto Milkman. Is there going to be a Root Beam to follow it up? Doesn't look like it. Samayam looking for a Cyclone, isn't able to get it. There's the full trap over onto Gorecki right now. Samayam's just going to be camping that bear form. Earthen Shield Totem was dropped out by Gorecki. That's going to make Samayam exceptionally tanky, and he's going to be able to survive this. Still has a renewal, has the bark skin. So very, very good defensively, Samayam is.
Here comes another attempt here with the Root Solar Beam. Incarnation. Samayam's looking for a kill on Dilly. He's trying to run away. Will he be able to escape the burst? Looks like they're trying to pin Samayam down. Smexon gets swapped too. He's caught in the maim. No Touch of Karma. A bash onto Gorecki. Smexon needs to be careful. His entire team is crowd controlled. He portals back to the pillar. That's going to heal him back up. Double bursting though for Dilly as he snags a trap. Samayam now forced to use his bark skin right before Incarnation. I think they're going to be misaligned for a couple of seconds. Foxy is going to have about a 5-second window. If they can keep the pressure up though, they might just get a kill now.
Yeah, Milkman playing that relentless. Those incapacitates coming in from Smexon not going to be super effective. He's able to grip Dilly away. Pops the Rapture to stabilize his team. He's going to be spamming out those powers. Smexon taking a whole bunch of damage. Uses that Touch of Karma into Foxy. Samayam cloning him up as well, trying to slow down that damage. So Smexon not able to really capitalize with that Touch of Karma offensively because of that clone, but Smexon is going to be able to survive to live another day and try to continue this pressure over onto Foxy.
Mana is starting to be tapped for both sides, but Foxy is going to have a big punch in 15 seconds, so they need to hang out. The triple stun out from Method Black. Nice Capacitor Totem into the Root Solar Beam, and Dilly's in trouble. Where is he going to go? He's in the middle of the map, and Samayam's free casting. He gets a clone out of the Root Solar Beam, and Dilly's all alone. He's trying to get out of line of sight, but he's just dipping lower and lower. Smexon tries to reconnect. Milkman catches a clutch power word shield. It looks like Gorecki might have purged it up, but now Samayam in the reverse. Anyone could die at this point, Ven.
Yeah, Gorecki is almost completely tapped on mana. Dilly trying to kite away, gets the Thorn up. Milkman able to toss out that penance to keep him alive, stabilizes his HP with that Archangel. Sam I Am and Smexen both rotting down. Cyfoxy pulls the trigger on Incarnation, Maim over on a Gorecki. Big pressure coming in from Sneakier Snakes. Method Black may have run out of time. Sam I Am into the bear form, trying to be tanky, while Gorecki is caught into the crowd control.
He got stunned out of form!
That could just be it. Sam I Am gets deleted by Cyfoxy. They ran into that that enrage timer. That second Incarnation is just so powerful for the jungle.
He made the critical mistake on Boomkin. He went for a clone from bear form. That takes you out of all shapeshift forms. You get no...
This matchup, we'll have to see how it plays out. This is do or die for both teams. This is the lower bracket. If either one of these teams loses, they are automatically not making it to the spring finals, so a lot on the line.
Yeah, and Method Black are already down a game. Snuts is playing it patiently, waiting in the starting area. He doesn't want to get found in stealth, and now he's sneaking across. He's looking for a clean opener. He wants to make sure he can get his Garrote off. It's going to be a huge burst of damage from stealth, so he played it patiently. Now he's moving in. Might open up with a stun. He opens up with cheap shots. He's not going to be able to get a Garrote in time, so he's going to lose the bonus damage in the start. Cyfoxy's going to be able to play more aggressively as a result.
Yeah, Sam I Am going for that polymorph. He gets interrupted. There's the full trap on a Gorecki. Sam I Am could be in some trouble now. There's the temporal shield. He's just going to line of sight. Snuts throws the kidney shot over onto Cyfoxy. Cyfoxy not able to connect any damage, and still Sam I Am dipping lower and lower. Gorecki having to trade out that Archangel as a response, and now Method Black looks like they're on the back foot. They're completely defensive in this situation.
Yeah, and this is much like Tilted. It seems like Method Black might be a little bit scared. They're just trying to avoid damage. They're not really getting any setups going, and they're just falling more and more behind. There's a kidney shot onto Cyfoxy. Vendetta popped to try and force Cyfoxy to run away during Incarnation. I like this pressure from Snuts. Cyfoxy is disrespecting it, though, and he's just going to gun down Sam I Am. He's trying to chase after him with, even though his healer is polymorph. It's a race. Who's going to pull the trigger or play chicken first is a question. Looks like Cyfoxy is. He's going to jump into bear form, pop survival instincts, try and tank out the rest of the damage. In the meantime, Gorecki's riding Sam I Am. Huge damage. Temporal shield, though, was clutch. That heals him back to full.
Sam I Am playing it very, very close there in that situation, able to hold on to his ice block. Still getting low, though. Gorecki able to spam out those Shadowmans. There's the fear out onto Dillypoo. Cheap shot onto Milkman. Can Sam I Am get the polymorph? He gets interrupted. He gets silenced and maimed, so it doesn't look like he'll be able to. Snuts getting lower and lower as well. Sam I Am, this could be the ice block. Kites back over to Gorecki, but taking so much damage. Pain suppression used. If he overlaps that with the ice block, it would be a disaster, but this is what good jungles do. They keep the pressure on the Snuts as well. There's the kidney shot on Cyfox. You see gets lower and lower. Nothing available really for him except that pain suppression coming in from Milkman.
That's arcane power from Sam I Am, but he got shut down with a well-timed skull bash from Cyfoxy, and they're really keeping Sam I Am under check. Cyfoxy is just playing with a lot of courage, really. Even with counter pressure, he knows he needs to keep his damage going. He's just running in. Gorecki's down to half mana. Ice block's basically the only defensive for Sam I Am. Snuts doesn't have anything. They could maybe even swap to him later on if they keep the split pressure going. Milkman's in a position to avoid polymorph to the best of his ability. Life grip on Sam I Am. Gorecki is desperate. There's a ton of damage coming in from Dilly. Snuts doesn't really, I'm not even sure if he really knows who he wants to go after. He triggers out a binding shot. He's going to go after Cyfoxy. Sam I Am gets bursting shot on top of Gorecki. Snuts is on the run. He's dangerously low. Are they going to go down 2 points here? Sam I Am could easily fall. He's got ice block, but Snuts is still low as well. Gorecki's almost tapped on mana, and it's not looking good for Method Black whatsoever.
Yeah, full polymorph on Milkman, though. Can they turn it around with some pressure onto Cyfoxy? He gets the maim over onto Snuts. Snuts has no trinket. Doesn't look like Cyfoxy's going to be able to finish him off just yet. Milkman in a good position to throw out those heals onto Cyfoxy. Cyfoxy now can get aggressive. Gorecki's trying everything he can to catch up in this situation. Sam I Am just spamming out the polymorphs onto Dillypoo in desperation, but Method Black is able to stabilize in this situation.
Gorecki is wiping the sweat off his forehead from that situation right there. His entire team was just almost dead, and they managed to play it greedy and hold on to Ice Block for maybe this moment here, but a well-timed Master Spell could get it. Milkman trinkets out. He goes for the Master Spell. Sam I Am's low. He blinks out of the binding shot. He trinkets. He got Temporal Shield up. That might be enough for Sam I Am to stay alive. That was an aggressive play from Milkman. Now he's caught into a polymorph as a result, but Snuts and Sam I Am are just so low on health. Gorecki has no mana left. Cyfoxy goes for the kill, and Sneakier Snakes are up 2-0. Method Black's tournament lives are on the line.
Yeah, and their dreams of making it to that spring finals. This is do or die for them.
I can keep up with Dilly, so.
Ooh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Method Black. Snuts is going to go to the bench. Gorecki, Sam I Am, Smexen are going to make a last stand to try and make it to the spring finals. If they lose this, they're going home. Gorecki's trying to get in there. They're going for the all-in strategy. Sam I Am is spec Nemesis. He's going to commit all in for a kill onto Milkman. Milkman has been trained down in the last series. He's ready for this. Will he be able to handle the pressure? Trades out pain suppression right away. Nice silencing shot and a bursting shot to deny the purges. Milkman is trying to kite away. Dilly's got great crowd control though, and it's allowed Milkman a lot of breathing room.
Yeah, Milkman already used his pain suppression, already used a trinket. There's the barrier running on fumes. Samayam getting lower and lower. Maim over on a Gorecki. Samayam has to keep himself alive. Blur's going to be activated, but they continue this pressure onto Milkman. Tons of pressure. The reverse on the full trap. Nicely done by Samayam.
Nice interrupt landed there. Milkman is in trouble. He's got no cooldowns left. He has to spam out Shadow Men. Samayam has nothing left. Tournament lives are on the line. He barely stays alive. Gorecki connects his Spirit Link. They have to go all in. They have to kill Milkman in this next stun, or they're going home.
There's the bash on Gorecki, though. Milkman in the leg sweep as well. Samayam gets caught in the main. Nemesis is active. They want to get this pressure out on the Milkman, but Samayam, he has to kite. Gorecki trying everything he can to keep him alive in desperation, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. There's the full trap, and Samayam desperately kiting away. So Foxy looking to close it out. Penance connects by Milkman, and Sneakier Snakes will send Method Black home.
3-0. 3-0.
I would have never expected that.
Everybody at home was like, oh yeah.
Not everybody, but
okay,
most.
a lot of people. It's a lot way back in Cataclysm, so Mez is kind of going back to his home base comp here with the Ret Paladin Death Knight, and it's going to be a ton of AoE damage, and they know the Prot Warrior team's going to stack up, so it's a good idea on paper. Resto Druid's a good idea on paper. Let's see if Fairly Caustic can deal with it.
Yeah, like you said, on paper, Method Orange has the winning composition. There's the full leg sweep on a trail. Big damage going out very early on, but Sidu responds with his artifact and his Iron Bark. Trill's going to be just fine in this situation. Justin actually opting to just play at range. Doesn't want to use that Way of the Crane unless he has to. All these melee characters just going to be trading out that damage early on.
Yeah, Trill seems to be the primary target, but this is the spread pressure from a Ret Paladin. Flarkness is down on half, Jay-Z's down on half. Justin's forced to use his Way of the Crane just to heal through the normal damage. And even with Way of the Crane, they're kind of getting cut down. Nice clone from Sidu. That's going to deny a lot of healing. Force a touch of Karma. Trill could choose to maybe bob this off. It looks like he wants to just play safe, though. He's not going to risk it.
Yeah, Sidu gets caught into that Incapacitate, into the Stormbolt. Nice crowd control coming in from Fairly Caustic, finding some damage over onto Trill. Hodge now over onto Justin. Trill responds with his own crowd control. There's the grip onto Justin. He actually ports out right away. Very nicely done. Not going to be taking any of that cleave damage. JC, he uses his Fortifying Elixir. No Touch of Karma available, so Method Orange can definitely train down that Windwalker Monk at some point, or at least put big pressure out onto him.
I think that they should chase down Sidu so they can stack up Mez and Trill for triple stuns. Right now, Sidu is basically doing whatever he wants. He's just chilling there on the pillar. He's going for clones. He's having a good time. So I really think Fairly Caustic need to make Sidu not have fun, basically.
Yeah, they definitely need to take away that fun factor for Sidu if they want to have a chance in this game. Otherwise, he's just going to be doing whatever he wants. There's the Incapacitate, and when Sidu plays at such a close range, he is an option for them. But of course, Trill always has that Blessing of Sanctuary, like we just saw there. There's the leg sweep on Sidu. Blessing of Sanctuary comes in, and now Sidu can just free clone Justin. So it's really scary for Justin if he wants to push in and get that CC over onto Sidu in these situations, as he can always get caught into those Cyclones when Trill's able to support do.
There's so many Cyclones coming out from Sidu. It actually got Flarkness's trinket. Maybe they can set up an asphyxiate later for him. Double stun paralysis, nice crowd control into his Stormbolt, and yeah, I really like that coordination paralysis into Stormbolt. Pretty consistent throughout the entire tournament for Fairly Caustic, and that CC chain is what they use as an opportunity for burst damage. So whenever Sidu has a little red box next to his frame, it's usually a paralysis or a Stormbolt. Look out for that because his team is going to be in trouble during those moments.
Yeah, Hodge over onto Justin, but he manages to get out of it with that Way of the Crane, charging in, trying to put that pressure onto Trill. Can they get the bubble and just the Incapacitate? Sidu going for that Cyclone, manages to land it onto Justin, so he's not going to be able to take full advantage of that Way of the Crane. Very nicely done. Blessing of Sank comes in as well. Trill, with that Retribution Paladin, doing work for his team in terms of defense. In the meantime, Flark is using basically every single defensive cooldown. That's Last Stand as well as Shield Wall.
Yeah, everybody is dying, and the theory crafting for this comp was great. It's really putting Fairly Caustic on the back foot. Sidu's getting a lot of great Cyclones. Flarkness is still low. Now even Life Cocoon has been forced from Justin. Mana is tied, so if we go into a late game, it still feels like it's going to be favored of Method Orange, unless Fairly Caustic can pull off some sort of miracle burst. Here's the Stormbolt setup. They need paralysis out of this if they want to get the Divine Shield. Doesn't look like they have it available. They're trying to chase Trill down the east, stop these healing touches. Sidu's getting a lot of heals out. That should be enough to restabilize Trill.
Yeah, Trill's going to be completely fine. There's the Incapacitate, Enveloping Mist being cast out by Justin onto his team. They're going to be fine as well. Way of the Crane available for Justin, so not too scared in the situation. Manages to pour it away, but that Cyclone was actually on JC, so nice nicely done by Sea-Doo. That's going to be slowing down Fairly Caustic, trying to take down Trill. Trill still has his Blessing of Stank, he still has his Blessing of Protection, he still has his Divine Shield, so a lot of defensives going to be available. Sea-Doo, you know, Iron Bark's coming up for them, Method Orange in a good spot defensively. Meanwhile, Flarkness, he really doesn't have anything left in terms of defenses. Venging Wrath's coming up shortly for Trill as well. That's going to be a moment where Method Orange can really push through those defenses of Fairly Caustic.
Yeah, Trill is ramping it up right now. Justin sitting through some Cyclones as Trill builds up damage. Mez is going to have a big punch soon. Flarkness is trying to make something happen here with the Battle Cry, but really just no damage to follow it up, and I don't think they can just let Sea-Doo do whatever he wants. He's almost at full mana, and if they don't start pressuring him, I think Method Orange are going to start walking away with game number 1. Jay-Z's got Touch of Karma. They're trying to set up some burst, but Sea-Doo's in no crowd control. What's Sea-Doo going to do with this opening? He's looking for some Cyclones. He's going to deny the Prot Warrior. Prot Warrior actually trinkets out. He wants to keep that taunt debuff up to make sure Trill is taking maximum damage. Way of the Crane is available. Fairly Caustic need a big hit right now if they want to pull us back.
Yeah, Justin trying to keep himself alive, but he actually gets Cyclone on that Way of the Crane. That's going to be a big deal. Now, as a response, JC has to trade up that Touch of Karma. Blessing of Protection comes in. Trill looking to get super aggressive on this Windwalker Monk. He gets caught into the Asphyxiate. Can he get away? There's the Life Cocoon coming in from Justin to keep his team alive, but Fairly Caustic is under so much pressure.
Everybody is dying. We see the Dragon coming out from Justin to try and heal his team back up. He's actually managed to restabilize, doing a great job on that Mistweaver, but JC is still just getting torn into. Mez is not a Death Knight you want to mess with, so JC's going to try and kite away and avoid it, but he left Flark behind. Flark is now getting taken down. Full stun on Justin. He trinkets, he leg sweeps to Peel. He's trying to pick him up. Dampening is starting to mount. He's completely out of mana. Sea-Doo's basically sitting at full. He's been sitting comfy this entire game, and Fairly Caustic, unless they start pressuring him, I don't know, maybe a swap to Mez? What is going on here? He's down on 10%, and Fairly Caustic almost snuck away with it there.
Yeah, Touch of Death still up on Mez, so a little bit of burst damage could come in. Sea-Doo realizing it, throws out that Iron Bark. That's going to make Mez completely fine. Trill did use that Blessing of Protection offensively, so in this situation, it's kind of scary for Mez. He doesn't have anything left. All he has is that Trinket, but it's not going to be doing too much to keep him alive. They can get one more CC chain onto Sea-Doo. Mez can definitely be a huge target here. Storm Than Fire going to be available for JC soon, so that might be the offensive cooldown that they need to take down Method Orange. But like you said, Sid, Fairly Caustic is running out of time with Justin's mana.
I'm wondering if Flarkness maybe has to play Mass Spell Reflect in this matchup to try and deny some of these Cyclones, because Sea-Doo is just walking all over this team. He's trying to get a clone on Justin right now. Bash forces Way of the Crane. Sea-Doo's trying to set up for a clone, but he's not able to get into position, and Justin's just healing. He's actually pressuring Sea-Doo a bit by himself. A healer 1v1 in the backline, and Sea-Doo's actually falling behind. His whole team is down at half, and suddenly Fairly Caustic might have a win opportunity here. Iron Bark is 7 seconds away. They paralysis Sea-Doo on low HP. Trill is dipping low. Mez is dipping low, and Fairly Caustic are trying to pull off a miracle.
Yeah, Sea-Doo's playing that Vim. These Mistweaver swaps over onto Sea-Doo are going to greatly reduce his healing if he is under that 80% mark. There's a full stun onto JC with the Hodge onto Justin. Justin has Trinket. He has the Life Cocoon. JC, can he get the port off? He gets caught in the Blood Elf Silence. Instead of just porting away, they all have to trade out the Life Cocoon. So I don't know if that was necessarily the best play, but Fairly Caustic manages to hold on just a little bit longer. But now Flarkness, in the meantime, taking a whole bunch of damage from Trill. He has that Avenging Wrath up, so big pressure. But Justin with the Way of the Crane.
Oh no, Mez! He's got nothing. Sea-Doo barely gets an Iron Bark in there in the meantime to slow down the damage. Mez almost went down. Dampening is starting to mount up. The damage is going to become almost unhealable. If we get to maybe, it feels like the 30% mark, that's when damage is going to be unhealable. We're almost halfway there. Mez doesn't have any personal defensive cooldowns. There's no Blessing of Protection. Justin has managed to heal for quite some time on very low mana. He's doing a great job trying to maintain that, to find any opportunity. They grip Justin. He rolls away right before this stun. Nice job, Justin, avoiding that. Nice Spell Reflect on the Cyclone. This Spell Reflect needs to be the opportunity to reverse the fight around. They need a Stormbolt into paralysis now on a Sea-Doo. Where is it? Do they have it? There's the paralysis. This could be it, Ben.
Yeah, Mez getting lower and lower. That's a Touch of Death coming in from JC. Blessing of Protection comes in the nick of time from Trill to keep Mez alive, but now they make a swap over onto Trill. Sea-Doo still no Iron Bark available. JC's going to be kiting away. He has the Touch of Karma. He has the Trinket, so in terms of defenses, very, very solid. Flarkness still. He's just kind of caught in the middle of the map. It's very difficult for the Protection Ward to get away. Way of the Crane's going to be traded out by Justin, able to top off his team.
No.
There's the full leg sweep on Mez. He's trying to kite away. He gets caught up into the stun, incapacitate on Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo trinkets out as well, so Method Orange forced to use so much defensively. That's the Corpse Shield, the Iron Bark, both trinkets. Fairly Caustic's definitely in a decent situation to take down Mez.
Yeah, Justin's greedy. He's not trinketing out of the stun. This is a really greedy play from Justin here. He's dipping low. He activates the Fortifying Elixir's on 5%. He gets Vortex back by Sea-Doo. He's hanging on by a thread. He barely portals out. Uses the Shayloons. He manages to recover. JC has Touch of Karma. He's just going to trade that out. He knows dampening is starting to get high. We're getting close to that 30% mark, and it's going to become so difficult for these teams to recover.
Yeah, Flarkness still at 50%. Justin, if he gets CC'd on this way of the Crane, it's going to be a nightmare for Fairly Caustic. Incapacitate on Sea-Doo. Mess taking lots of pressure. Icebound Fortitude traded out to try to keep himself alive. This is the wings from Trill as well. They're trying to counter pressure. The way the Crane is keeping Fairly Caustic. Mez aggressive though. Stormbolt into Incapacitate on Sea-Doo. Mez still just barely holding on. AMS traded out. Ironbark available in 3 seconds for Sea-Doo. Is he going to trade it out? There's the double Fist of Fury on Sea-Doo, opting not to use that Ironbark with the full Cyclone on Flarkness. Just
JC has nothing. There's almost no man. Nice clones from Sea-Doo. JC gets stunned up. Is he going to be able to survive? He gets intervened. He port heals. He's trying to roll away from the fight. He gets gripped back in. He tries to flying serpent kick. Flarkness now is going to get swapped too. Justin's caught into a full Hammer of Justice, and Method Orange are in a great position to close this out.
Yeah, Flarkness getting lower and lower. Can they take him down? And they do. Method Orange almost 30% dampening, bringing in a composition, which I think is very solid. Intelligently, they bring in the Resto Druid, making it very difficult for this Cleave to sort of train him down. He has the protection of, train down Sea-Doo. Just run at Sea-Doo the whole game. They're going to be able to generate a whole bunch of pressure because of that. Will it work out? We'll have to see. This is game number 2 between Fairly Caustic and Method Orange.
Yep, Mez is just going to take straight to the tomb and try and Chains of Ice the whole team from getting to Sea-Doo, and they've managed to deflect an initial push, which means Sea-Doo's going to have a gap of position here that he can see the enemy team coming. Justin rolls in, lands a paralysis, and surprisingly enough, it doesn't look like they actually want to go after Sea-Doo. He gets sanctuaried out of that leg sweep there, and Justin actually got fully hexed, but unfortunately is going to break to the Ret Paladin damage. I don't think Trill can punch their way of the Crane this early on. Flarkness actually uses his shield wall a bit peculiarly, unless he's just trying to line it up with the CDs. I guess he wants to, because his whole team just dipped down to half there. Justin seems to be having a hard time picking his team back up, and way the Crane just ended.
Yeah, Flarkness going to be in a lot of trouble. Revival is going to be used by Justin. He still has the Life Cocoon. Flarkness gets caught into the capstun. Nicely done by Sea-Doo. That was an Incapacitate coming in from JC onto Sea-Doo, but Sea-Doo's just having a field day in this matchup. He's able to spam purges. You look at his mana, it's not doing too bad. Flarkness just can't get healed up. Life Cocoon going to be forced out. Justin having a very difficult time. He gets sheared up as well into a full hex. Flarkness still in so much trouble.
Yeah, he could just easily lose right now, and Sea-Doo swapping over to Shaman with these full hexes are coming in clutch, as it looks like Flarkness could fall. Justin's doing everything he can to keep him alive. They actually managed to get Icebound Fortitude from Mez. Maybe they can have an opportunity there to kill him later. Finally, Flarkness has recovered.
Yeah, it's difficult for Method Orange, though. You want to make these offensive pushes. Everyone is so low, so he's throwing out those purges. But look at Sea-Doo's mana now. It's down to 50%. If Fairly Caustic can survive just a little bit longer, they could win the long game. There's the Hodge onto Justin. Flarkness still just tanking out some of this damage. Double Fist of Fury Stun's going to be coming in from JC as he ports out as well. Just wants to maintain his HP. He has no Karma, no Trinket, no nothing. So very dangerous situation.
What? Mez is dipping kind of low. Sea-Doo actually has to trade out Spearlink, and mana is not looking good at all for Method Orange. So, I mean, if Fairly Caustic just stay alive, I think they actually might just walk away with this. Mez doesn't have many defensive cooldowns. Trill, though, trying to lead the charge for his team. Anti-Magic Zone dropped to stay aggressive as well. Double leg sweep there, peeling away Trill and Mez. Nice stun there. Sea-Doo now caught into the paralysis, but this Hex, if Sea-Doo can sneak this Hex in and still heal his team at the same time, it's going to be the task that he needs to overcome. He's trying to top Mez off. Nice gift to the Queen. That's going to boost his Mastery healing. The lower Mez gets, the bigger Sea-Doo heals. He lands the full Hex. He's maintained the heals and the Hex, but unfortunately ended up breaking there, so Justin's just going to roll away to safety.
Yeah, Mez is still in so much trouble. Flarkness, he pops the shield wall to remain aggressive. There's a double cap stun coming in from Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo still spamming out some purges. Asphyxiate onto Justin. Flarkness needs to survive just a little bit longer. Nice Fist of Fury stun coming in from JC to peel up both Mez and Trill. Mez under so much pressure. Sea-Doo almost completely Last Stand's going to be used there by Flarkness. Touch of Death committed by JC. They really want to take down Mez in this situation.
Yeah, they're trying to gun down Mez. Paralysis onto Sea-Doo. He's basically tapped on mana. No defensive cooldowns for Mez. This could actually be the game, but a full Hex secured by Sea-Doo as he goes all in for the kill. Flarkness leaps away at 1%. He's literally at 1%. Lava bursts are coming in from Sea-Doo. He's desperately trying to get the kill. Is he going to find it? He gets it right in the final second. Sea-Doo commits all of his remaining resources to kill him. They're still trying to push through, but Sea-Doo denies it. And this Shaman pick was a risky one, I have to say the least. I don't think we should, even though he looks super cool on the Shaman, I don't think that was a steady pick.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a comfort pick for Sea-Doo.
If he's up that front in their face, they need to force him away. At least then they deny the Cyclone. So I definitely want to see them not ignore Sea-Doo Sea-Doo. They need to pressure him a bit. Here we go. Mez is going to charge in. He's Chains of Ice spamming to make sure nobody can get to Sea-Doo, and they are going to all in Sea-Doo, it looks like, and he just immediately displaces away. Flarkness doesn't care. He's going to try a nice Vortex there from Sea-Doo, catching both of them. Great kiting so far. If he can just keep this up, they're forced to hit a different target.
And that's why the rest of Druid's so good. Displacement, the Vortex, finally the full leg sweep goes out onto Sea-Doo. Can they find the damage? JC's not there. That Windwalker Monk, that's the class that's going to be providing most of the damage, and Mez is just snaring him over and over. Sea-Doo's kiting around this pillar, and really, Fairly Caustic has not had the best opener.
Yeah, JC just can't connect to his target. Mez is just spamming out Chains of Ice, making it really difficult. Sea-Doo did just use Displacer Beast, so he's not going to have a getaway for the stun. He needs to be ready. Looks like he tried to pre-Iron Bark, but Trill is just randomly at 40%. I don't know if he was being attacked by Justin. There's a nice triple stun. Sea-Doo finally getting pressured here. Trill is dipping low, and this kind of spread pressure is what Fairly Caustic need if they're going to pull off a win.
Yeah, good pressure coming in from both teams at this point. Trill has that Avenging Wrath up. JC could be a little bit scared, but still, they're just training down Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo has the Bar Skin, he has the Trinket, there's the Bass onto JC. There's the Touch of Death, though. Sea-Doo displaces away, and once again, Fairly Caustic cannot connect to their target. Sea-Doo has done a phenomenal job kiting in this series so far. He's just being supported by Sea-Doo, or by Trill and Mez so well. Finally, Fairly Caustic's looking to put some pressure out onto Mez. It's actually Justin.
He's 1v1ing Mez in the back line. Mez is actually getting killed by the healer of Fairly Caustic right now, down at half HP. And he needs to. If he creates split pressure, that forces Sea-Doo to come out of bear form. And then as soon as Sea-Doo comes out of bear form, Flarkness just jumps on him and immediately starts getting a lot of damage. So it's important for them to hit multiple targets. Sea-Doo desperately trying to displace away, but they're right on his back. They kick him on that Cyclone. I love the denials of the Cyclones. Justin's caught in a Hammer of Justice, but it looks like he's going to recover. Nice. They managed to bait the Sanctuary with a Storm Bolt, so now they won't have that for a leg sweep, and so they might force Sea-Doo's Trinket. They've got decent, constant pressure right now. Sea-Doo is starting to fall a bit behind.
Yeah, bash onto JC, no Trinket, no Touch of Karma, Blood Elf Silence onto Justin. Are they going to be able to find the damage to take him down? The split strategy is very interesting coming in from Fairly Caustic, creating pressure all over the place, forcing Sea-Doo to just not camp that bear form, which is going to be so important. Now Sea-Doo caught into that full leg sweep. He's in bear form, but they don't care. They just want to push through and keep this damage up. Sea-Doo getting lower and lower. He has the frenzied regen to keep himself alive as he comes out of bear form.
Does he?
Throw some hots on himself, so he's going to be able to survive, but at what cost? I mean, he has no Bark Skin, he has no Iron Bark. Trill still has that Bop and Sanctuary, though, so Method Orange defensively is looking quite nice.
Nice double stun, cross crowd control from Method Orange. They're building a lot of pressure off of that with JC dipping dangerously low. He gets Death Grip back into the fight. He's trying to roll away. Life Cocoon forced, and Clone on Flarkness. He Trinkets out. They're just going all in for Sea-Doo. There's no Bark Skin, Trinket, and Sanctuary available, though. Sea-Doo needs to make sure he doesn't line of sight Trill, or he won't be able to use Sanctuary to get Sea-Doo out of a stun. There's the stuns. Trill, what's he going to do? He's going to Sanctuary. Maybe he didn't need to there. There was no Touch of Death. He was in bear form, so Sanctuary is now out of the way, and Sea-Doo is still getting pressured.
Yeah, but that Blessing and Protection is going to be a lifeline for Sea-Doo that really Fairly Caustic has no way to deal with. That's the Touch of Death going out onto Sea-Doo. He manages to displace away. Going to be fine. Nice Death Grip coming in from Mez to get JC off, but he's going to be able to ride that wind back to his target. There's the full Hodge over onto Justin. Sea-Doo's still low, just having a very difficult time topping himself off. But like I said, at any moment, Trill can use that Blessing of Protection unless they get that cross CC out to keep Sea-Doo alive. And there's nothing really Fairly Caustic can do to stop that, prevent that, or really push through that defensive cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, it's still anyone's game. I think if we move into dampening, there is strong potential for Sea-Doo to go down. I think Justin maybe needs to focus more on keeping split pressure on Mez or Trill during those moments with his Way of the Crane rather than dogpiling one target. Obviously, Sea-Doo is going to keep Life Bloom on himself the whole game. He's the primary target for most of the members of the team. Life Bloom is the most healing you can do, but you can hit a different target that doesn't have Life Bloom. So if they split some of their damage, it will force Sea-Doo out of bear form, and it doesn't look like they're keeping up with that strategy. They're just only going after Sea-Doo, and I would love to see them split up a bit. It's still, they're just trying to gun him down. They use the Storm Bolt. Sanctuary gets Sea-Doo out of that. He's just stacking up Thrash. He's getting Moonfire. He's doing damage for his team. He tries to displace JC and Hot Pursuit. These Death Grips on Ride the Wind are perfect, but he's still able to get back there, maybe. We see an Intervene kind of premature there from Flarkness onto JZ. I'm not sure if that was really necessary. Sea-Doo's been doing a great job, though, throughout. It's not very often that you fight Prot Warrior Windwalker. He hasn't been caught off guard yet.
Yeah, but still, he's just hovering around 50% HP. If they can ever find the damage to push through, Sea-Doo gets caught at a bear form. He has to trinket out. JC all over him, though, as well as Flarkness putting out some decent pressure. Frenzied regen will keep him alive. Barskin still available for Sea-Doo. There's the full leg sweep out onto everybody. Flarkness putting out some damage with that. Naltharian's Fury as well. Ride the Wind going to be used, but an immediate death grip coming in from Mez. That's going to be shutting that down, and that is so crucial. If JC can get out those full Ride the Winds, it's going to be devastating for Sea-Doo, but the death grips have been on point for Mez this entire game.
This is important for Fairly Caustic to keep their pressure steady. That way they can get a Barkskin or an Ironbark without a stun. But they need steady pressure to do that. They managed to get Ironbark here from Sea-Doo. If they can keep pressure up without stunning him, that's when it's going to be scary as a Resto Druid, because you want to be stunned, then you want to use Frenzy Regen to get the full. If you're never stunned and you're eventually forced to Frenzy Regen, you can't use it after the stun. So Fairly Caustic just need to keep up this pressure. But the more that they stay on him, the harder it is for Justin to keep his team going. Blessing Protection used to deny the cooldowns here from the Windwalker Monk. Nice clone onto Justin. Sea-Doo taking full advantage of that Blessing Protection, denying interrupts. He's spamming clone out with it. Way of the Crane is up, though. Sea-Doo only has Barkskin and Sanctuary to ride off of. Justin's trying to retreat away, but he gets stunned up. He gets silence on the trigger, but Sea-Doo now caught into a stun as well. A lot of pressure towards Sea-Doo. Triple stun for Fairly Caustic. Sea-Doo displaces. He gets back behind the box. Nice Vortex there, pulling Flarkness back. JC's trying to stay on his tail, sticking right onto Sea-Doo, start to finish.
Yeah, nice interrupt coming in from JC, slowing down that Tranquility, but JC's in a lot of trouble. He needs to be so careful in this situation. No trinket available. I don't think his port's in necessarily the best position. Fortifying Brew has been used, so JC, very, very scary situation for him. Life Cocoon is available for Justin. He has that trinket as well. That's going to be the way of the Crane. Fairly Caustic manages to stabilize as dampening gets higher and higher. The split strategy coming in from Fairly Caustic is going to be very taxing for Sea-Doo. As Sea-Doo gets caught into the double stun. They try to push through the bear form, but that Frenzied Regen is going to be so powerful against these melee.
Yeah, but now with no Barkskins and dampening starting to mount up, if they just press their damage abilities on CD and keep sustained pressure up, I actually think there is a miracle opportunity to kill Sea-Doo with no Blessing of Protection in the back pocket to really rely on to save him 100%. We can see Mez leading the charge, but a triple leg sweep. Who's going to trade out the cooldowns? Looks like Trill is going to use his Sanctuary to get Sea-Doo out of that stun, but it was overlapped with Barkskin. And cooldown overlaps have been costing teams a lot of games here. He's going to trade out Shield Wall. Way of the Crane activated. Nice clone there from Sea-Doo. Clutch clone. Flarkness is going to be at low HP for quite some time now as a result, but if Sea-Doo gets too cheeky and he goes for too many clones like that, he could actually go down.
I'm kind of interested to see what Sea-Doo's mana is at this point in the game.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's 100% mana, so mana is not going to be an issue for either one of these healers at this point, but Sea-Doo gets caught into the leg sweep once again. He's in bear form, though, so he's going to be relatively safe. There's the Touch of Death coming in from JC. It's going to provide some nice burst. Ironbark available for Sea-Doo, opting not to use it at this point. Gets out of form once again, throws out the Ironbark, tossing out the Hots on himself. Flarkness and JC all over him, though. Sea-Doo's still in so much trouble.
I don't know if he's actually going to make it out alive. He lands a clutch double War Stomp, but JC right on his back. Flarkness charge is over. Frenzy Regen is not doing too much damage. He blinks away. Nice Vortex. Really good Vortex, but they catch him out of form. Nice Sanctuary. Trill saves Sea-Doo. A couple more seconds. Pressure is mounting on both sides with Flarkness dipping low as well. Way of the Crano is going to add a lot of damage to Fairly Caustic. Sea-Doo's entire team is low. He can't leave bear form. He's pinned down. He can't heal his partners. He trades up Barkskin. Offensive Touch of Karma, and Sea-Doo could fall.
Yeah, he's in so much trouble. Trill doesn't have any help for him. He's trying to counter pressure the best he can, but this strategy is working out so well for Fairly Caustic. There's the double stun going out. Mez trades out the Icebound Fortitude. Sea-Doo desperation trying to kite away. You know, that was a beautiful death grip by Mez, keeping Flarkness away from Sea-Doo so he can finally get some heals out. Wild Growth comes in, but Sea-Doo just having such a difficult time topping himself off. Ironbark's coming out in 2 seconds, though, and that should be the cooldown Sea-Doo needs to survive.
All right, JC used a lot of defensive cooldowns offensively, which means he's an opening target, but Sea-Doo is just getting so much pressure into his face, and we're getting that critical 30% healing reduction. I don't think Sea-Doo can keep this up. Fairly Caustic are trying to just train him down, start to finish. He gets Blessing of Protection. He snags the clone. They're trying to go for the kill. JC sees it coming. He immediately retreats away. He knows he's the kill target with no defensives. Nice defensive reaction, but Flarkness got left behind, and he could fall.
Yeah, but Life Cocoon available for Justin. Is he going to be able to get it off? He trinkets, gets the Life Cocoon. Flarkness going to be able to survive, but in the meantime, Sea-Doo has completely recovered. Barskin's going to be available again. Now JC and Flarkness need to find that pressure and momentum once again. Way of the Crane going to be available for Justin. And just a little bit here, we're at almost 30% dampening that critical mass where Helos has such a difficult time keeping their teams alive. Trill using the Avenging Wrath, trying to keep up this pressure onto Flarkness. Rallying Cry is going to be used by Flarkness to keep himself alive. Or sorry, that
Sea-Doo.
Stand, yeah.
Oh, the steady pressure, they're not stunning him. This is the smart play. Do not stun Sea-Doo. Make him use Frenzy Regen before the stun. Tranquility, that's a cheeky Tranquility. He immediately stopped cast that. He doesn't want to get interrupt. Nice bash onto Jay-Z. Good clone follow-up. Sea-Doo needs Cyclones to stop damage at this point. His healing's going to be too weak, and Flarkness could fall as Method Orange look to close. Justin has nothing left to keep him alive. Flarkness tries to charge away from the melee. He's trying to get away from the fight, but Justin just can't handle this. Dampening is so high, he barely hangs on. They managed to get Ironbark from Sea-Doo. Now Sea-Doo's on the rope. Flarkness is on the rope. It's still anyone's game.
Yeah, Sea-Doo, no Trinket, no Barkskin, no Ironbark, no nothing. In a lot of trouble, but so is Flarkness. Justin used everything to keep him alive. There's the Way of the Crane. Ken is healing. Keep Flarkness alive. Flarkness charges away, gets caught into the Hodge, and Trill takes him down with the Avenging Wrath. Method Orange closing out the series 3-0, eliminating Fairly Caustic from the tournament.
That was really well played, though, from Fairly Caustic. Being the new guys, they're obviously the underdogs.
For tomorrow, we do have Method Orange. They're going to be going up against Sneakier Snakes as well, Tilted versus the Rejects. And we actually have basically our top 4 for North America kind of locked in. It looks like it's going to be Method Orange, Super Frogs, the Rejects, and the Move. The only thing that can disrupt that top 4 is if Tilted end up taking the entire tournament. And they're actually in a pretty decent position to do so.
Yeah, or Sneaky Snakes, if I'm not mistaken. I think if Sneaky Snakes wins the entire thing, then they also have a shot.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
If Method Orange beats Sneaky Snakes, then the Move is basically going to be super happy. They're just watching right now, and they just